ripe down there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it is 10:35. I say we roll right in.
Okay.
Welcome everybody to XP Weekly. We are here with some of the cast of our lovely web series that we made last year.
Yes.
We still have some of them on the way. Let's maybe go down real quick and do an introduction of who we all are. In case you don't know, I am Timothy, and I'm one of the showrunners and creators of Experience Points. If you somehow stumbled in here and don't know what Experience Points is, allow Moobot to edify you. Who's sitting here to my right?
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm the director and also co-creator.
Co-creator works. I like that.
All right. Of XP web series. This is my house, and you'll see my cat occasionally if you're lucky.
If you're really lucky.
Yeah.
And then there's me, Kevin. I am one of the cast members of the web series and an ultra fan of the subject matter and the people who wrote it.
Oh,
So
that's nice of you.
So I'm happy to be here hanging out with him.
Cool. And then our friend Cody will also be joining us, but he is currently not wearing any clothing. We've strongly encouraged him to put clothes on before he comes to the stream, but if you and chat would prefer to see him with no clothes on, let us know, and we can try to get something figured out.
Mm-hmm.
So today we are going to do some character creation for our upcoming Twitch campaign that will be starting next week with actual gameplay. Are you excited? I'm pretty excited. So the very first thing that we're going to do, I'm going to have you folks, our players, roll me some ability scores. So while you guys do that, I will explain the campaign concept to the chat audience. For those of you who don't know how to do this, you guys are going to take 4 d6, 4 6-sided dice, and you're going to roll them. And then once you've done that, you will take the lowest number of those 4, and you will subtract that from the total, add the other 3 together, and then write it down. Do that 6 times, and then we will confer about it. We're doing it old school. Hey, and Camille, welcome. So chat, while they're doing that, I'm going to edify you guys about what our campaign concept is. We will be running a very unique campaign idea that we came up with called the Junior Adventurers League. So the premise here is that it's kind of a lighthearted campaign that is a little bit Boy Scouts, a little bit Hogwarts, a little bit of both. The conceit here is that our party, our adventurers, are all attending basically an academy for adventurers. They're sort of young children, students that are currently learning their adventuring trade. And sort of during the summer, as opposed to attending classes, they go on these missions with their school, their after-school program called the Junior Adventurers League. So the conceit is basically that they're young kids. They're effectively Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts going off on these missions, attempting to earn patches, attempting to apply their academic knowledge of adventuring towards furthering the school's goals and, learning things and kind of having a field experience. The conceit then being that a lot of the characters are legitimately children. I think the youngest character we have is an 8-year-old, something like that. I think up to about 15 in age. They're usually going to be accompanied by sort of a scoutmaster style character, a professor or a senior adventurer who will come with them and help them on their way. And the idea is that we're kind of taking low-level characters and putting them in much more dangerous situations than they should necessarily be in, and sort of letting them figure it out with their wit and their wisdom. Awesome. So we're going to go down the row right now. We're going to introduce people's character concepts, and we're going to assign ability scores as we do that. So, Kate, would you like to give us a very brief synopsis or idea as to who your character is?
Yeah, I'm playing a female halfling who's 8. She's the youngest. Her name is Priska. Her nickname is Jeremy, which is sort of an inside joke from XP. Like, we had Cody's younger brother that kept ruining all of the XP takes. His name was Jeremy.
Yeah, his fictitious younger brother.
Jeremy, and so I'm going to be Jeremy.
Jeremy, for the chat's edification, is spelled J-R-M-I, Jeremy. Awesome. So you are playing a bard,
yes.
Right? And did you roll your ability scores?
I did. I haven't placed them yet, but I got a 15, a 15, a 10, an 8, and 2 11s.
Okay, so that's definitely usable. You've got 2 good ones in there, 2 15s, especially if you put those in some of the better ability scores that you need for a bard. But you're a little light on some of the other ones, so it's kind of up to you if you want to use those. I would maybe say you could re-roll it one more time if you wanted to. What do you think?
Reroll everything?
Yeah. So sometimes when you roll ability scores, if you do poorly in such a way where the character's not really playable, right? But I think 2 15s would work. You would just be sort of really good in your 2 areas and not as good in some of the other areas.
I think that makes sense if she's 8.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I'm down with that. Cool. So how do you want to assign these?
Definitely 15 charisma.
Yep, I think. Let's see. Depending on what kind of halfling you are, Cody, who is still not wearing any clothing, has our player's handbook. So we're gonna have to use a PDF of it online to get some data. Kevin, how about we have you introduce your character? And then we'll talk about this.
Sweet. All right. So my character doesn't necessarily have his full name yet.
Cool.
But I'll be playing a dwarf. He is. I think we decided 10.
Yeah, I think somewhere around there was what
So he's a dwarf. He's about 10 years old, in dwarf years, whatever that may be. But he's an appropriate age to be here hanging out with all these people. He's approximately 10 years old in human years, however that
I
works
think
out.
it makes sense that you guys would probably mature at the same rate. So I feel like you're probably actually just 10. You just live longer than a human. I think you're like dumb. Like, I'm 70 years old, but as smart as a 10-year-old, right? Like that.
Well, that's how like halflings work.
Yeah,
they're
sometimes
just, like,
they're
they're adults when they turn 40.
Right. Yeah, but I think they're more like culturally adults than they're just dumb for 40 years, right? They're like a 10-year-old. Anyway, please continue.
But anyways,
yeah.
So he is a dwarf. He is visiting this school, which not too many dwarves do, I decided.
Interesting. Okay.
Because most of the dwarves stick with the family. So, like, if your father's a stone cutter, you cut stone. If your father's a blacksmith, you're a blacksmith.
Sure.
His name is Moss, and he is a druid.
Oh.
So he is going to be a little different. That boy ain't right. So they sent him off to school to go and learn from somebody else who actually knows anything about druid and...
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah,
awesome.
So
cool. So, how did you do for your ability scores there, Moss?
Oh boy. So my ability scores, I may or may not. I like playing characters that aren't that good at things.
Yeah, sure.
But my ability scores are as follows: I have a 15.
Okay.
A 6.
Ooh.
A 10.
Okay.
A 14.
Okay.
And 2 11s.
Yeah. I think you guys are in a similar boat where you could make those work, but you do have, at least especially in Moss's case, a pretty severe disadvantage to some.
Well, I think I was going to do it to charisma.
Okay, yeah.
Because charisma isn't necessarily... It isn't necessary at all for druids. And it would make sense if he stinks.
Yeah.
Because I have this idea of, like, everyone knows that stinky kid from school. Like, everyone knows that kid who just perpetually smelt bad. And I think that's Moss.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think I'm going to take the 6 to the charisma, put wisdom, put that as my highest, which was the 15.
Awesome.
And then maybe constitution is my 14, and then just put the rest other places.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
And I figure if he's younger, then eventually he'll, like, as he gets older, his strength and everything will come.
Well, of course, yeah. That's the other thing we have to take into account here is that these characters are
they're still developing.
They're children, yeah, absolutely. So for halflings, Jeremy, there are a couple different things that you get. Your dexterity will automatically increase by 2 on its own. So whatever you put in dexterity, we'll get 2 more. And then depending on which sub-race of halfling you choose, either lightfoot halfling or stout halfling, either your charisma will go up by 1 or your constitution will go up by 1.
Lightfoot, I think.
Lightfoot makes sense, especially if you're going to be a bard. So... for dwarves, I think you're kind of faced with a similar question, Moss. Let's look at it. I know you generally get Constitution up by 2, and then whether you're going to be a hill dwarf or a mountain dwarf, hill dwarf will be a wisdom increase by 1, and mountain dwarf will be a strength increase by 2. So
ooh, that's a little tough one.
Yeah.
I want the wisdom just because
I think that probably makes sense. You also get slightly more hit points as well.
Wait, mountain has the wisdom increase?
Hill has the wisdom increase.
Hill
dwarf has wisdom plus 1, and then you get additional hit points, basically.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go hill dwarf.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good to me. All right.
Wait, what else do I get? I'm sorry.
We'll deal with that in a little bit.
Okay.
Just as far as your ability scores go, that's all we're dealing with right now.
And the other one was Constitution?
Yeah, you get Constitution up by 2 and Wisdom by 1.
Neat.
If you choose Hill Dwarf. Awesome.
Cheesy Pete's nice with Mars.
Cody also has a character concept, which he'll explain as soon as he puts his pants on.
He's having trouble with, like, leg holes versus arm holes.
Yeah, it's confusing. I don't know if you guys have ever had any trouble putting on clothes, but...
I put my clothes on the same way everyone else does.
In the dark.
One leg at a time in the dark.
In the dark, upside down, hanging from, like, a hook.
Yeah.
Like
Why sleep upside down like a bat?
Like a bat, yeah. Alright, great. So the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to choose our characters' backgrounds. So what's interesting about this campaign setting with the Junior Adventurers League is that Normally, what a background is meant to symbolize is sort of what your character did before they became an adventurer. In this case, however, none of these characters have done anything before. What they were before adventurers were infants.
Can we make it what we want to be when we grow up?
Oh, that's interesting. Well, generally they tend to be like non-adventuring careers. So if the idea is that you're training to be an adventurer, you presumably want to be a bard when you grow up, right? But like, let's look at them. But they could also be something that like your family does, or some information that like you might have like sort of learned from your family's history as opposed to your own individual history.
Sure.
It's taken a second to load. Here we go. Ah! So we have a couple of different options. We have the acolyte, who's sort of the religious, like, raised in a temple. The charlatan, who's someone who is a con man or a grifter or something like that. A criminal, pretty self-explanatory. A thief or a thug, something like that. An entertainer, right? Makes sense if your family maybe is in the circus or something along those lines. Folk hero, generally kind of like the commoner trait, the commoner background, but has sort of an implication of a little bit of fame in there as well. A guild artisan, someone who's skilled in a particular field, whether it's alchemy or apothecaries or armor or brewing or whatever it is. We have a hermit, who is obviously someone who lives out on the fringes of society, or your family, weird, wandering losers. Noble is pretty self-explanatory, someone who's wealthy and comes from privilege and position. Outlander, someone who grew up out in the wilds, sort of the barbarian background. Sage, if you were already educated, maybe your family works at a school or something like that. And we have sailor, if your family sails around a lot. And soldier, who, again, if your family has sort of a warlike background. The last one, I believe, is urchin. Maybe you didn't have a family. This is the one that I think actually would then immediately apply to you, right? You were maybe like an orphan or something like that, and then raised on the mean streets. So do any of those options jump out to either of you guys for Moss and Jeremy?
Probably the artisan.
Artisan?
I mean, my parents are bakers.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I dig that.
So.
I mean, I already know the answer to this question. So.
Yeah, of course. Here, 1 second. I'm going to go answer the door, because I just heard Cody come in.
Cody.
Cody?
You dressed?
Cody? Do you have clothes on?
Yeah.
Welcome.
Cody, well, that's good enough.
I'm here with my clothes on.
He came with his clothes on. Yay!
Yay.
Cody's here, everybody. Cody's going to get
Yay.
situated, and then he will come and join us. So, Jeremy, you had said that you were going to choose Guild Artisan for your background.
I think so.
Does that make sense to you? Okay, cool. So let's look at Guild Artisan. What does that give you? The main thing you want to get right now are going to be what skills and tool proficiencies you have. So
Yeah.
on the skill sheet down there, if you want to check Insight and Persuasion, those are 2 skills you get automatically. You can also put under other tools and proficiencies below, you can put one type of artisan's tools. So it could be baking supplies or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Everybody welcome the illustrious and dressed Cody Bushee.
Hello.
Woo!
Yay.
Hello.
You did it.
Thanks for coming, my friend.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Cody, so do you want to... The chat is very excited to see you, Cody.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you want to roll me some ability scores, we could get started.
Sure.
So take those
Sure.
46 right there. I want you to roll them 6 times. And every time you roll them, take the lowest number and subtract it, and then add up those remaining 3. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So you go ahead and work on that
Okay.
while we talk to Moss. Hey, Moss.
Oh, I have a question.
Oh, yes.
Can I interrupt again? So is the first one I roll going to be strength?
No,
Or
you
am I
can
putting
reassign
them-
them
I
wherever
can
you
reassign
want.
them wherever
Yep.
I want. Okay.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
And if you roll all 4s or something terrible like that, we can have you redo it. We're not gonna
I
nail
rolled
you to
6.
these
I-
terrible.
I'll propose it to the council.
Okay.
when they have it.
Absolutely. So Moss, which background do you think makes the most sense for your druid?
At this point, we've changed gears a bunch, and I've forgotten some of them. I
okay.
think probably Guild Artisan, like his parents were going to have him become
Okay,
whatever they were going to be.
sure. Okay, so we have
But-
2 guild artisans in the group. That's
Yeah, but I also was thinking there was another one in there that
cool. We can go through the list
is
again.
possible. Yeah.
Acolyte, charlatan, criminal. Let's scroll through the THB.
Entertainer.
Entertainer is one. Folk hero, guild artisan, hermit.
Maybe folk hero.
Folk hero.
Like, I feel like maybe his dad or his mom was very important in the community, and all of a sudden they gave him.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you're gonna be. I think Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon.
Totally. Yes.
Like his dad is the
It's
biggest.
the big nut. in the
Yeah,
dwarven
he's
community.
he's the big Kahuna, and then you get this
Yeah.
creature come out.
Are you maybe like are you just one of his kids, or are you were you supposed to be his heir or something?
I think
like
he's
that?
like the
That's
first
kind of
son
interesting.
type thing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
dig
so
So cool. You can write down folk hero then for your background.
sure,
I dig
I'll do
that.
folk hero.
I mean, unless you want to do guild artisan, but I think it's kind
No,
of cool to
it's
diversify.
Diversify your bonds, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. Sound financial advice from Kevin.
Yeah.
Let's look up the background.
Liquefy
of
your
what she
assets.
did. I get it.
Sink them all into.
So you're gonna get animal handling
Stuff.
for folk hero, which is good, and survival as well for your skill.
Yeah, I need both those
You
things.
do need both of those things. That's
Hey, how about?
You also have proficiency in one type of artisan's tools, up to you, and then land vehicles, so carts and wagons.
Yeah,
and things.
baby.
So,
So it was animal handling and survival.
Yes.
And then I have
tool proficiency, which you can write in the little box down there. One type of artisan's tools and land vehicles, so carts and wagons and things. Welcome, everybody. So somebody asked, Lazy Mermaiden asked, are you guys going to be playing a specific pre-written, or is it going to be homebrew? Yeah, we are playing homebrew. Yeah, I guess I didn't bring this up. So one of the cool things about this campaign is that we're basically running a long series of one-shots where each adventure will be totally self-contained. As I mentioned before, our players are basically children that are attending an adventuring academy, and for their sort of summer study abroad program, they're going around and having adventures and being sort of escorted by a scout leader or senior adventurer. The campaign concept is called the Junior Adventurers League. But the conceit, though, is that every week on our Patreon page, you can vote as to which adventure you would like our heroes to tackle next. And then they're all based on adventure hooks we've been tweeting out from our account for the past couple of years. You guys pick them, and then I design an adventure based on that. And then once the adventure is done and it's online and you guys can watch it, we will then, for our Patreon backers, be releasing all 4 adventures that we play each month as a reward for our $10 backers. So you can download the PDFs and run these wacky, silly adventures as your own game. Their characters don't even have to be children for them still to be fun. Speaking of our Patreon, I'm going to be Shilly McShillerton here and just send you guys a little link. If you guys haven't checked out our Patreon yet and are not patrons, there's a whole bunch of awesome rewards there that you can check out that will specifically relate to this stream. Yeah, I appreciate it, Lazy Mermaid. It is a cool idea. I'm very smart. The Patreon... the Patreon all goes to fund our second season of Experience Points, which is a cool thing that Kate and I are going to make for you guys. Are you excited about it? Let us know, chat. We hope so.
They really desperately need you to be excited.
Yeah, it's very, very important.
It's really important that you are
Awesome.
excited.
Fuels my
Thanks,
week.
Flock of Seagulls. We really appreciate your patronage. All right, so, Cody, my baby, have you finished rolling your ability scores?
I have.
Awesome. Would you like to give a very brief
Cody got coffee.
summary of what sort of character you're playing? I know that you're a little more nebulous in some of your details, but you want to tell the chat basically what your idea was, and we can try to refine it from there.
Yeah. So he is going to be a little boy.
Not a good start.
He'll be he's going to be like 11, right? What the ages were?
I think
8 and 16,
8,
right?
8 to like 15
8
is
to
kind
15.
of the range.
So yeah, he'll be like 11 or 12, I want to say.
Okay.
He's an elf, a high elf.
Nice.
Comes from a very wealthy family that has definitely invested their own personal money into the school as well.
Cool.
So he's kind of been maybe bought into the scenario that he's into. Although he does have these like natural abilities. He's a spellcaster. I think we decided sorcerer.
I think sorcerer is what we said.
Right?
Like a
Sorcerer.
naturally gifted spellcaster.
Yeah. So he does have these natural abilities, but he is definitely kind of got to stick up his butt. And
My father said this.
thinks that he basically runs the place because his dad is well regarded
Yeah,
at the
I think
school.
we sort of discussed sort of a Draco Malfoy
Definitely.
feel, right? Yeah,
Definitely
which
that
is
Draco
awesome.
Malfoy
Just a
kind
little
of feel
butthead.
just a little snot.
Yeah,
Like he
absolutely.
I'm gonna find a way to give him some kind of lovable side, obviously.
Of
but,
course,
like,
yeah.
he won't be
I-
purely Draco Malfoy. It's
Listen,
just,
I think
you
that
kind of hate him all the time.
If you look at the Harry Potter fandom, Draco Malfoy is very well liked. Like,
Yeah,
even though he's
it's
kind
true.
of a douche, like
It's true.
there's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
a community for that.
Yep.
Jeremy's
All right.
gonna latch on to
So
you.
let's talk about your ability scores there, Cody. How did you do when you rolled those guys up?
Okay, so there's nothing too prominently great, but
Okay.
it's still good. I think I got a 14.
Okay.
It's one of them. Then there's a 6 on there too, though.
Oh, another
This is like
6.
me.
And then there's an 11, a 13, a 14, and a 10.
Okay.
So it's nothing's too super special,
Yeah.
but it's Most of them are pretty mediocre except for that 6.
I would say that's the bottom side of playable. I do think you could make it work, but 2 14s is a little rocky as your best.
Yeah.
But if you're an elf, you're a high elf.
You did way better than me. I mean, I don't.
What? I thought you did okay. What did you get?
No, I mean, like, after my ability scores and everything, I have a 16, a 16, and the rest
but
are
2
like...
16s are really solid.
2 16 is
It's
pretty
much
solid,
better
but
than
then I have
2
a 6, 11, 10, and 11.
Okay. I'm just saying that he's probably not going to get any synergies from his race because he's an elf. So you're going to get a dexterity bonus and probably an intelligence bonus, Cody. So you probably won't get the charisma bonus that you need. So you'd be rocking a 14 charisma, which is
pretty rough.
A little low. Like, you could definitely make it work. But, yeah, as Flock of Sabers points out, and a 6, damn.
Yeah,
It's a little rocky. So I will say if you would like, you can give it another reroll, but I do think you could make that work.
So you reroll all the numbers,
Reroll all
right?
of them, yep.
I think I'll just reroll all of them and
Go
see how
for it.
that
Yeah,
goes.
give that a shot.
Reroll, wow.
A total reroll.
So the council has
Total
decided.
reroll.
The council has decided. Total reroll starring
Total
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Total. Yeah, I've developed a little weird cackle now, just so you guys know.
He was like in the car on the way here. Ha! No, that's too deep.
No.
Ha!
That's good.
That's it.
I like that
It's
noise.
actually pretty funny.
No one else will.
All right, so Cody, you go ahead and re-roll those. We're going to move on with the other 2 players. I want you guys then to do a little bit of heavy lifting on your saving throws, which is the little box immediately next to your ability scores right here. You guys can see those. So depending on which class you pick, that's going to determine which one of these guys you have proficiency in. Actually, before we do that, in the box immediately above, all of our characters are starting off this campaign at 2nd level rather than 1st level. So you guys can put a +2 in the proficiency box. It would be the same if you were 1st level. But the conceit here is that 1st level adventurers at the Junior Adventurers League, and that is what they call them, the 1st level adventurers, are basically freshmen and are not allowed to participate in the Junior Adventurers League. All of these guys have passed on to level 2, which then allows them to, during their summer vacation, go off and have adventures. Yeah, you guys have a +2 proficiency bonus, and then depending on which class you are, that's going to determine some of which of those saving throws you guys have proficiency in. So let's pull up that list now. Yes. So for a bard, you're going to have proficiency in dexterity and charisma. So you know how to do this, right, Kate? You add your proficiency bonus to your ability score and put that in the little blank space there. If you don't have proficiency in it, then you don't add the +2. Okay, Bot, I trust you also know what you're doing. For a druid, you have intelligence and wisdom as your 2 saving throw
I got
proficiencies.
Ant and Wiz.
Ant and Wiz.
Oh, wait. Do I need to know this number?
Oh, yes, you do. So if you don't know those numbers, let me help you out there.
That is not going to be anything.
No, that would be an extremely good strength.
I do
So
need
it's
to know those
-1 for 8. It's +2 for 15.
It's actually a 17.
Oh, okay, so it'd be +3 then. Yeah. How's everybody doing in the chat? You guys having a good time? Let us know if you have any questions or concerns. If you wander in and are like, what the hell's going on? Who are these people? Please let us know. I'd be happy to stop and re-explain it.
Is 16 also a +3? Or is it
16 is also a +3.
no.
Good.
Yeah.
I think the rest of those then are
Wait,
gonna
what
be
is a
+0.
6? Is that -2?
Oh, that's a great question. I think it's a -2.
I'm pretty sure that's right.
Let me look it up. While I do that, Cody, how did you do?
This one went a lot better.
Awesome.
I might be too powerful now.
Uh-oh. How'd you do?
So-
you rolled just 6 18s.
Yeah, they're all 18s.
Which would make sense if you're like lording over everybody. It's like, I'm the best. My family's
Oh,
the best.
wow.
Best.
No, he's pretty good.
Yeah, 6 is -2. Okay.
So it's a 15, a 12, a 13,
Oh boy.
a 12,
Oh boy.
a 15,
Oh no.
and a 12.
Oh yeah. I think you're maybe a little too
A
good.
little too good on that one.
Oh,
so do
boy.
I have to do a third
The
reroll?
council has spoken!
Yeah, I think you should try
3
one
times?
more.
Oh.
Did you save your previous one? Or did you already
I
erase
erased
those?
it.
Oh boy, okay. Well,
One and done, baby.
save these and then re-roll again and we'll see what you get.
Come on, Cody. Just
Sorry.
roll better.
This is
Just
the problem.
roll
I like
with us.
I enjoy playing with the randomness of the 46, but you occasionally get this problem where you're either incredibly good or incredibly crappy. You're just gonna have to roll.
I'm usually a pretty good roller when I do this.
Oh, yeah?
Like, it's usually the
It's-
first time. It's
I mean,
pretty even, but
Clear.
I don't
This has
know.
never happened before.
Maybe it's because the stream is live and I'm a little nervous.
Yes, to
I'm
answer
not
your
having-
question, we're doing rolling, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how to say his name, but
Yeah.
we all have upgraded our hair for sure.
Oh, funny.
100% hair upgrades.
Yeah, we look all vastly different, I think, than we look in the...
Yeah, Heather has blue hair currently.
Yeah,
so.
if only she was here.
By the way, Lazy Mermaid has suggested that you do better.
Oh,
Can you
thank
just try to step up your
Thank
game?
you, lazy mermaiden. I'll just take a deep breath and
The Heracross wants to know what time we're starting the campaign next week. So we're at kind of a unique time right now. We're streaming a little bit earlier in the day, whereas next week we will be streaming at about 4 p.m. PST. That'll be our normal time. We'll go from about 4 to 7. We're just doing this one a little early because we actually have a film festival we have to attend later in the day. That'll be cool. But thanks for the question. One system I've learned about and like is the 2d6 plus 6. It allows for a max of 18, but it means a minimum of 8. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, maybe we should try that in future. Oh, somebody in the chat, Earwigan, please let me know if we're mispronouncing that.
Okay.
Suggests an alternate system that's kind of interesting.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
All right, let's get a little bit more structured here. Let's keep
That's
moving.
really awful.
So let's talk about our skills.
That's really weird.
But
you guys can,
skills into it.
in addition to your class skills, you have your background skills as well.
Yes.
So Bard, you get to choose any 3 skills to be trained in. That's kind of your superpower. You can pick any single 3 that you want. So you go ahead and wonder about those. Aragwen, is that right? Aragwen? Thanks for letting us know.
Aragwen, thank you.
That's much better. I'll always remember and I'll never forget and never have to ask you a second time, even unto the day that I die. Thanks, Aragwen. So for druids, as far as which trained skills you have, boy, let's look. You get to choose what? 2 from the following list: Arcana, Animal Handling, Insight, Medicine, Nature, Perception, Religion, and Survival. Did you get that list, Kevin?
How many do I get to choose?
2. Arcana,
Oh shit.
Animal Handling, Insight, Medicine, Nature, Perception, Religion, and Survival. 2 of those you already have, right? You already have Animal Handling and Survival. From
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with medicine and nature.
Sounds good. Cool. So while you guys are going through here and doing all the math for the rest of those skills, I'm going to check in with Cody real quick. And then we actually have a little bit of an activity for the chat to help me out with. So how'd you do, Cody?
Okay, so this is definitely the most interesting one.
Okay, cool.
So I've got a 15, a 9, a 17, a 15, and then an 8 and a 7.
Oh, I like that a lot.
Yeah, but then
actually.
he puts his, like, if you put an 8 down, you're gonna get an added 2
So
to,
I have,
like, other
I'm
things. So
pretty special at 3 things. But
Yeah,
I'm pretty bad
really
at
garbage at 3 others. I actually really dig that.
That's interesting, right?
Yeah, as a high elf, you're going to get a +2 bonus to dexterity and a +1 bonus to intelligence.
Sure. So I could even balance it out a little bit.
You could balance it out a little bit, but I still think you're going to end up with some weak points.
Yeah.
For a sorcerer, I think charisma
is where that 17 should go, right?
Definitely to charisma. But I'm wondering what your secondary skill should be. They also recommend constitution. But I think there's something... Well, you're going to get a constitution bonus to your saving throws. But I also like the idea that maybe you're not the toughest.
Oh, yeah, like he's kind of a little shit. Little prissy, little
totally
wimpy, kind of glass cannon kind of thing.
Heracross points out I might only be able to see the beginning of it as I work at your 6, which is my 10. That's too bad, Heracross. We will obviously love to have you. But all of these episodes will be available on our YouTube channel. So if you can join us in the beginning and then want to catch up later, it'll be... How exciting would that be to get some of the adventure and then have to go to work and wonder, like, how did that turn out?
We should do that.
Did they escape from the dragon's mouth? Who knows?
How would we do that?
All right, so Cody, if you want to punch in those ability scores, where do you think they should go?
So you said... Wait, it's charisma and what's the other skill?
Constitution they recommend for
I see.
For your saving throws, but also your dexterity and stuff will be helpful because that's going to affect your armor class. So and you being like small and lithe and quick makes sense, especially if you're an elf and you're a kid.
Lazy Mermaid and suggests everything mental is good, everything physical is bad. So
That's an interesting idea.
Right.
All right, so while he does that, I'm going to talk to you guys, chat, about the possibility of helping us out with some of our world building. So one of the things that's interesting about this campaign is that every time they go on an adventure, they're going to be assisted by a senior adventurer. Sometimes these are professors at the school that we have so far affectionately named the Gygaxian School of Future Adventurers, better known as SOFA.
What?
Because it's
the G
S.
is silent.
Yeah, the G is Gygaxian School, so I guess it would be just the School of Future
that.
Adventurers. Yeah. The idea is that we have words in my mouth. We have a bunch of NPCs we need to make. Every time they go on an adventure, they're going to be bringing basically an adult NPC with them who will guide them, not necessarily participate in the combats, but allow them to figure out problems and kind of be their chaperone, right? How foolish would it be to send 4 children into a dungeon by themselves? So I was wondering if you guys wanted to help us out in designing some of these NPCs. So let's design one of our senior adventurers. Let's maybe say this is a professor that works at the School of Future Adventurers. And first thing I need you guys to decide is an interesting race. Assume that we're talking, typical fantasy world where everybody's got the standard D&D races. If you want to do something interesting or more monstrous, feel free to suggest that as well. But assume elves, dwarves, anything that's in the PHB is fair game. We had a question here. Sid said, please let me know if I'm mispronouncing that. Said, did you guys start earlier than planned? No, we started at 10:30, so we've only been going for about a half an hour. Sorry that you didn't get a chance to jump in yet, but we're obviously very happy to have you. Yeah, we got some race suggestions being thrown around. You guys work on that while I check in with everybody else. Cody, baby, how you doing over there?
I'm good. I think I got these filled in here.
Cool. Do you need to know the modifiers, or do you know those?
I was just trying to do the pluses in my head. So if it's a 7, it's a -2, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, and a 9 and 8 is -1.
Mm-hmm.
A 15, is that a +3?
+2.
Oh, +2. Okay, so 17 is +3?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
A dragonborn.
Yeah, we see a dragonborn and a goblin. I dig both of those. Those are both interesting. If you guys have any more suggestions.
So,
yes, Cody.
Can I go over where I have them laid out?
Yes, please.
Explain. Tell me what you think.
Yeah,
here.
I like that.
So I got a 7 under strength. Dexterity is a 15.
Cool.
Constitution is a 9. Intelligence is a 15.
Yeah.
Wisdom is an 8.
Yeah, there you go.
And charisma is a 17.
That seems perfect.
Yeah.
You're like smart and you're quick and you're like, relatively charismatic.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You're not wise.
I think he lies a lot to make himself look better.
Totally.
He's like not.
That sounds awesome.
You've read a lot about things in books,
And he's
but
smart.
you haven't really had too
He's
much
aware
experience.
he's not like.
Yes.
He's aware that he's not who he says he is.
Awesome.
But he's like.
You're the kid that's always correcting people. It's like, actually.
Lunacy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, you had sent us a message earlier about it, and I did not put those two things together. Lunacy. Thank you. Boom. Okay.
Yeah.
Aragwen and Lunacy. I will never get them mixed up or be confused. I'm perfect at this for the rest of my life. I'm not writing any checks I can't catch. Okay. Awesome. So what do you guys think between Dragonborn or Goblin? Which of those two do you think is more
Goblin.
You got to do a Goblin? I feel like
love Goblin.
let's get the Goblin going for a professor. All right. So what class? What does this professor teach? Now, when I say class, I do literally mean class in D&D. One of the cool things about SOFA, the School of Future Adventurers, is that they there's sort of no barrier between meta and reality. So these guys are all level 2 adventurers. So that means they're level 2 in the school. Jeremy is a bard, which means he's in the bard class.
No.
And Moss is in the druid class, because that's his class in the game. So what kind of class does this goblin professor teach? Are they a warlock? Are they a wizard? Are they a fighter, a monk, a rogue?
Mm-hmm.
Suggest some classes, and we can definitely discuss it. Awesome.
So I
Yes, Jeremy.
have picked 2 of my 3 skills, and I'm trying to decide between
Ooh.
my last one.
Interesting.
If you guys have any input, so
Yeah.
it's either deception or intimidation. Deception, I think, would be interesting because I don't know. I feel like Jeremy would always be like, well, Odo says this thing is probably true. Odo's my brother that I adore. That
Yeah,
was
so
also junior.
the idea, right, is that you're constantly referencing, my older brother does this, my older brother does that.
Or intimidation, which could just be like me throwing a tantrum.
Okay.
Kind of.
What do you guys think in the chat? Do you think... I'm skewed towards intimidation, because I kind of like the idea of you just, again, little kids just screaming and crying and falling down. It's very cool to me. But do you guys think it makes more sense for a deception for the bard or intimidation? We have a couple of different suggestions out there for the class of our professor. We have Artificer, Goblin Paladin, Goblin Barbarian, and Monk. I'm skewing towards either Artificer or Barbarian, because I think those are kind of cool. I think Goblin Artificer sounds kind of neat.
That sounds terrific.
Lots of magic items and weird mechanisms and stuff.
Is that a new class for the 5th edition?
Yes, 5th edition does have an Artificer class in it. I've not looked at it yet, but it was released sort of as an Unearthed Arcana.
Yeah, I read something about it, but I haven't read it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of an Eberron tie-in.
Very cool.
Cool. So I think we're going to go with Artificer. Thanks for the suggestion, Sildari. Nice to see you out there. Both Sildari and Lunacy both suggest Deception for you, Jeremy.
Okay.
So you want to skew towards Deception? Sounds
Okay.
good to me. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, I love a good Mum 2 flock of sequels. There's plenty of room for those. So now we have a Goblin Artificer Professor. Can you guys think of 2 sort of distinct character traits that this professor could have? One that's more physical, something that like describes what they look like, and one that's more behavioral. What kind of teacher are they? Do they have like a weird accent, or do they have a hacking cough? Something like that. You guys brainstorm that for a little bit, and I'm going to move on and get these guys working on their next thing. Let's talk to Cody, actually, because Cody needs a little bit of help.
Yep.
All right, so you got your ability scores in, right, Mr. Cody?
Yes, sure.
We're going to have you pick your background.
Oh, cool.
So the background in this game represents less of what you did before you became an adventurer, since you were kind of, you're a child, and more what did your family do? What is your background, your heritage?
Right.
The options, there's one that I think makes the most sense for you, but let's just go through them.
Yeah.
So acolyte, right? Someone who was raised in a temple,
Sure.
sort of religious background.
Sure.
Charlatan, meaning you're kind of a con man, someone who talks their way out of their problems.
Sure.
Criminal, pretty self-explanatory, a thief or a thug. Entertainer, someone who has maybe your family's in the circus, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
A folk hero, probably a peasant, but notable in some way.
Right.
Guild artisan, someone who, makes things. A brewer, a calligrapher, a carpenter, something like that.
Okay.
A hermit. You mean people who
Definitely.
live way out there, have no kind of
Definitely
society.
hermit. Yeah.
The noble, someone who comes from wealth and prestige. The outlander, someone who grew up in the wilds. Sage, someone who's sort of connected to the school and through study and lore, someone like an academic family.
Sure.
Sailor, someone who sailed around. Maybe your family owns a ship. Soldier, sort of a military background. And urchin.
That one.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And urchin, I think, makes sense, right?
Definitely
because you have
urchin.
no money. So what do you
money,
think?
no
about
I think
this?
noble makes the most sense.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
wow.
skewing towards noble as well. Yeah, interesting. So if you're noble, then under your skills, you get 2 skills automatically. You have history and persuasion.
Oh, perfect.
As those 2, which you probably were already looking at anyway. You also get 1 proficiency in a type of gaming set, like so you can dice or cards or something like that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you get a couple of cool pieces of equipment as well, which we'll cover equipment from your backgrounds in a little bit. But yeah, you get like some fine clothes and a signet ring and a scroll of pedigree. So I'm like, listen, I'm a big deal. God damn it. Awesome.
Right up his alley.
Yeah, totally.
Sure.
We have a couple of suggestions here. Heracross has a name. His name should be Glitch, which I think is a great name for an artificer, Professor Glitch.
Professor Glitch.
He has enormous, complicated spectacles with alternating lenses that he's enchanted with detect, identify, and read language spells. That's extremely cool.
The floor is loud.
Let's see. Aragorn also suggests his classroom has also been arranged with a maze of stool desks and elevated walkways, so he never has to walk on the ground and appear short. Oh man, Aragorn is killing it with these suggestions. That's awesome. I like both of those. So I think his name is Glitch. I like Heracross' suggestion. I like the lenses that have all kinds of different filters and things. And I really dig the idea of him like being very concerned about his height, and so he constantly has stools and walkways. Like you never see his legs. He's always like behind something significantly, so you can't tell that he's short.
As a newly appointed safety officer for the school, though, as Kate,
yeah,
I think that the floor should be glamored as lava, but not.
Oh,
actually.
that's really cool. I love that. That's a great idea.
Because you can't actually have lava.
Of course, yeah, totally.
True.
Sorry, I'm the bummer as the
Oh, no,
official safety officer.
I don't think that
so fun.
Aragorn was saying that the floor is literally lava.
I know.
Yeah, but I think it's a cool idea if the floor has like weird glamours on it that makes it look like different
Yeah.
things. Lava is one of those.
He's
I
actually
dig it.
dangerous.
Yes, Professor Glitch, the Goblin. Here we go. Professor Glitch. I'll write down some of these ideas. That's killer. Okay, cool. All right. So real quick, Cody. Now that you have your background down, sorry, we're doing a little catch up with you.
Yeah.
I would like you to pick some of your skills.
Great.
So as a sorcerer,
I guess I'm already right.
yeah, you have 2 already. You have your history and your persuasion, right?
Right.
And as a sorcerer, you can choose from some of these suggestions. You can choose 2 from Arcana, Deception, Insight, Intimidation, Persuasion, and Religion. 2 of those. Arcana, Deception, Insight, Intimidation, Persuasion, and Religion.
Oh, 2 of those.
Yeah,
okay.
you think about that, baby.
Well, definitely Arcana.
Yeah, Flock of Seagulls says he can cast illusion or something to make the floor look like lava.
Yeah.
I think that's very cool. Safety officer Kate would clearly be a cleric.
Apparently, my life is like lawful good.
Yeah.
That's what
I
come
could
to realize.
I could absolutely see Kate as a cleric. I dig that. Thanks so much for your suggestions on Professor Glitch, you guys. I really dig that. I wasn't sure how well that was going to go. I'm instantly in love with this NPC.
Yeah.
It was so flavorful. Nice work, especially to Aragorn had some great ideas in there. But we all helped though. We all contributed.
My ideas were the best.
Kate's ideas were the
I'm
best.
gonna do intimidation.
Yeah. Oh, totally. You are.
That's a great idea.
Especially because you picked
I almost
deception.
did deception.
Right? Yeah. I think you could do both, but
I did Arcana and Intimidation.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Because Arcana, right?
Yeah, Arcana makes sense. Uh-huh. Oh yeah, that because I mean you study magic, right?
Yeah.
That's your
I think, I don't know, acrobatics.
thing. Super
He is
accurate.
quick. He's this dexterous.
He's got
for sure.
The hair
Dexterous?
process that they're
Is that a
feet.
word?
Dexterous.
Dexterous.
Yeah, dexterous.
We'll go with dexterous.
Dexterous does sound cool.
Dexterous
Yeah.
is a thing you would try and convince us is real.
Dexterous
I
also.
think that's his cousin.
Yeah,
Dexterous.
Dexterous also sounds like a professor or a character.
could be.
Or my cousin Dexterous. Yeah,
Dexterous.
I like that a lot. You gotta write Dexterous
I think
down.
my cousin Dexterous is so cool.
Is that cooler than Odo?
Whoa. Okay, cool. So then we have that down. I think you're finally caught up there,
the
Cody.
preacher.
Dexterous.
Every time.
Alright, so let's talk about equipment. So you guys have equipment.
His middle name.
Equipment is his middle name. So, depending on what class you're in, you're going to get different kinds of equipment. Normally, I would say that you guys would have money that you could spend on stuff, but I feel like the school probably gives you some standard gear. One idea that we had was that we like the idea that all the students have a couple of standard issue like texts. One of them is the Adventurer's Handbook, another one of them is the Monster Manual, that you guys like have a copy of the Monster Manual, quote unquote, that you can pull out and reference, like, oh no, an owlbear, like, now what are owlbears weak to? And everybody takes out the book and like looks for it. Yeah, exactly. But I don't know how you guys want to do gold, because I feel like it makes some sense if, for example, Moss, you know, I don't know, but you're coming from privilege, right?
My family has money, but
Yeah, okay.
I'm pretty sure they probably bought me a lot of things, and then
Yeah.
I just didn't bring any of.
Or you don't use it, yeah.
It's got like a stick, a rock.
Absolutely.
Like the clothing I have to keep on. They're like, no, you have to keep the clothes on.
You're constantly trying to take your clothes off.
Yeah. Other than that, I think he's a light traveler.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I think we'll just start with standard gold then. That seems fine to me. Let's all roll it, and then we can spend that on stuff. So the bard, you are going to roll 5d4, and then you're going to multiply that by 10. I don't think we have a lot of d4s to spread around here, but you can definitely get started on that. The druid is only going to roll 2d4 and multiply that by 10.
Let me do it.
Oh.
And the sorcerer is going to roll 3d4 and multiply that by 10. But,
How many do I get?
3. You get 2, and Cody gets 3. You get 5, bard.
By 10?
By 10, yep. And then you're also going to get a little bit more from your backgrounds as well. Raz suggests that we don't use gold, but use Monopoly money. That would not be very helpful.
We're doing hit dice right now?
We're doing...
No.
Oh, hit dice we should do in a bit, too. We're doing gold and equipment.
I get 2.
You get 2d4 times
You said I
10.
get 3, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be using some dice from XP.
Ooh,
yeah,
those are
right
Perkins's d4s, absolutely.
So I have 140 gold pieces.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like my family is like decently upper middle class. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of us, but they're bakers and they're working all the time.
Right.
I feel like I have an allowance that I keep saving up for something. I don't know
Yeah.
what for,
You
but
have a
I've been
piggy
saving
bank.
up forever.
Okay, cool.
And so I feel like wherever the sofa is located, my family probably lives in town, and like they're constantly pumping children through this program.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like I have chores and stuff that I have to do, like,
Totally.
sometimes if I'm not at school, it's like, I gotta go home and I gotta help clean up the oven.
Totally. I misunderstood Roz. Yeah, that was actually a really great suggestion. A couple people came in to clarify. They said, don't use gold, use Monopoly money. And someone came in and said, only usable at the school store. It's like school store credit. You can't use it in the real world, but it's
Yeah.
like meal plan money.
That's
I think
right.
that's
Oh,
actually
yeah.
kind of a funny
That's
idea.
That's
Yeah,
right.
So that explains why you guys have to, maybe you save yours, but you guys are a little more like...
So
throw
maybe
your
the
money around.
how well we do on the adventures, they pay
They
us.
pay us in fake
for
money.
the
That's
school
really
pays
great,
us.
actually.
But
My
it's
older
only
brother,
usable in
like,
store.
cashed out because he graduated,
Yes.
so I just have, like,
You have
his
a
rolling
huge
over.
inheritance.
And I don't
so-
eat there because my family is bakers, so I just...
I dig
food
that.
from home.
Great idea, guys.
Cool.
Nice work, Heracross, Roz, Flock of Seagulls, and Lunashi.
I have 60 gold pieces.
60 gold pieces?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And what did you get?
I got 80.
80? Yeah, okay. So, yeah, it's school credit. I don't think that this represents the money that your family has, right? I imagine your family is
Yeah.
incredibly wealthy, but it's more like
Or they
your-
could just not give me.
not giving because you've
like,
squandered
yeah,
it.
yeah, or something.
That's great.
Yeah.
He just
You're
buys
on a
really
s-
fancy
They don't really
combs.
trust me with money.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because they shouldn't do
I
that.
kind of like the idea of it. It's just like,
Yeah.
if you're going to go out on an adventure, you have to buy their adventuring gear. Like, you have to buy
Yeah.
Everyone's at the same
school-branded
level.
Uh-huh.
school-branded adventuring gear.
I
Everybody
agree.
has advantages of equipment.
So, let's see.
I got a sofa hoodie. the store.
So then let's actually just have you guys get standard gear then. I think that's kind of cool. Obviously pick whatever you want, but I don't think I'm going to subtract that out of your money. I think that what you have represents the basically school cash that you've worked up. You guys will have to help me think of some ideas in the chat as to what they can spend that on, but I really dig that idea a lot. So for the bard, you are proficient with light armor, simple weapons, hand crossbows, long swords, rapiers, and short swords. So trying to figure out what...
Did you catch all that?
Got it.
So light armor is the first thing. Since your Aragorn suggests, since your older brother went, maybe you could let him use his old backpack. That's funny. He wears handy haversack. A magic item. Maybe you got grandfather did. And that's a cool idea. So let's look at your armor. For light armor, you have padded leather or studded leather armor. You could choose any one of those three.
I mean,
Here, I'll let you choose those, and then you can look at weapons. You can choose any simple weapons, plus the long sword, the short sword, and the rapier and the hand crossbow. So a couple of those as well.
okay.
So I'll let you look at that while we talk to the chat.
I don't have to buy these, right?
No, you do not have to buy these. Awesome. Yeah, the Heward's handy haversack is maybe a little bit, but I like the idea of you having some magic item or trinket that you've inherited from your brother, in addition to your generous paycheck. So while they're doing that, I'm going to talk to the rest of the group, or talk to the chat about another professor that we could design. So we have Professor Glitch, who's the artificer and teaches presumably artifice, whatever that class would be, artificery. So we need to think of another one. So same questions as before. We need a race first off, and then we need a name would be cool. And what do they teach? And some physical and a
Dexterity.
because of dexterous, and a personality trait. So go ahead and start throwing those out. We can figure it out from there. Awesome. What did you decide, Jeremy?
I'm going to do studded leather,
Cool.
and then I'm going to do a hand crossbow.
As a ranged weapon. Do you want to get a melee weapon as well?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Ooh, Goliath Professor. That's a good idea, Sildari. I dig that. The good thing to think about is that maybe a lot of these professors were also adventurers once upon a time, right? Like, why would they be good at these things? The idea of, like, a barbarian professor is a funny idea to me.
Right.
He's
Now, to properly rage...
Yeah, right. He teaches classes on basically barbarism. It's a funny idea.
How to Hulk out.
Yeah, totally.
I kind of like the idea of him being completely hubris about it. Like,
okay.
the barbaric teacher isn't a barbarian. He just
like,
studied a lot.
He's like
about
Beast, right? Like, he's very, like, intellectual.
Well, I would have been a lion tamer.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm going to do club, but for flavor, it's going to be a roll pin.
A rolling pin, yeah. I dig that. Okay, cool.
Oh,
Awesome.
that's interesting. Stealing some
You're not
ideas.
the only person that
Whoa.
flavors their weapons to be like their person's profession.
Interesting.
That's not an original idea.
I am. I'm very original, and no one else is allowed to do
Yeah,
those things.
we're definitely playing around with Dragonborn barbarians getting thrown around a lot. I do like the Goliath though, Sildari. I think that's cool.
Are Goliaths in 5th edition?
They're again an Unearthed Arcana thing as well.
Oh, okay.
They were released as a supplement to I think the Prince of the Apocalypse.
Did the Genasi come back? Or Genasi?
Oh yeah, they did. I have a Genasi in my pirate game actually.
I did not know that.
They're sort of like humans who are influenced by one of the elemental planes.
Yeah, so this is like rock dudes and fire dudes.
Yeah, and water people.
Water
like
dudes.
They have sort of elemental traits
wind
about them.
dudes.
Yeah.
Like
Electric
airbenders?
dudes.
Kind of. It's more like in their bloodline. So, like a fire
It's like
genasi
you.
is someone who has like an intense connection to fire and can manipulate fire and like as an innate thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a little complicated, but yeah, they're cool.
That sounds cool.
Hallie's playing one in my pirate game. She's playing a water genasi.
So does that also have to be your class too?
No. It's just like you have, you know how like
This is your race.
an elf
You have
is
an inborn ability.
sure has some inborn abilities. The fire genasi would have inborn.
Yeah, the
abilities.
fire genasi is just good at not getting burnt.
Okay. Oh, the Heracross comes in with Dragonborn barbarian named Thrash. Professor Thrash is pretty good.
Thrash Gordon.
Thrash Gordon.
Thrash Gordon.
Flock of Seagulls
Professor
suggests.
Thrash.
I really like Thrash Gordon. Erasmus von Thrash is pretty good though too. Okay, because you get that both. He's very like erudite and intellectual, but his name is von Thrash. Okay, let's talk to Moss about their equipment. So Moss, again, you do not have to subtract this from your current school bucks, sofa bucks, or whatever you decide to call them.
Sofa bugs.
Sofa bucks. Here at Sofa.
Let's see. Where is Druid? Erasmus von Thrash is so good. Thrash the Stampede, you guys, with the puns.
Thrash the Stampede.
That's a great Trigun reference.
He can dodge bullets.
He can dodge bullets. All right, so you, my friend, you are proficient in light armor, medium armor, and shields. And you have a very weird and specific list of weapons you can use. Clubs, daggers, darts, javelins, maces, quarterstaffs, scimitars, sickles, slings, and spears. I'm glad you memorized that list, because I will not be giving you this book.
Beep, beep. Beep, beep.
Yeah, I think Von Thrash is the right way to go, guys. I love Thrash Gordon. I think that's great, but I think Erasmus von Thrash.
Thrash Gordon was what he did before he became a professor.
Yeah.
He was trying really hard to leave his past
His
behind.
actual first name is Erasmus, and he's trying to leave his.
He used to be a boxer. And
Yes,
no, that's not
yes.
my life anymore.
Yes. Okay. Cool. I think it's Thrash. Erasmus von Thrash is a dragonborn barbarian, and he teaches primitive culture and anger management or something like that. Whatever the PC name of barbarian is. I really dig that a lot. Let's get some physical traits. What does this guy look like? What is his personality? I like the idea that he's trying to leave behind his former past as a rage monster and be a little more erudite.
Used to be the Hulk on Hollywood Boulevard.
Basically, yeah. On Hollywood Boulevard, not the real Hulk, but the Hulk on Hollywood Boulevard.
This is a poor man's Hulk.
For those of you who've never been to Hollywood Boulevard, there are a lot of people that wear superhero costumes and walk around trying to get you to take their picture with them.
And pay them money.
And the Hulk is always kind of a sad one because you just can't really make a Hulk costume look cool. Unless you're a huge bodybuilder.
Yeah, it's pretty hard.
It's tough to be the Hulk.
If you are, then you have better things to do.
Absolutely. Red scales is good for Lunacy, I see that. How you feeling over there about your equipment, Moss?
Oh no.
You keep looking, that's fine.
Quarterstaff.
Everyone's throwing out different colors. Oh no. Red scales, blue, purple, silver. Oh, they're all good.
He changes colors when he gets mad.
Like the Hulk.
Yeah, his scales go from yellow to green.
Yeah, definitely.
Just with his mood. If he's sad, they're blue.
It was weird. I actually really like that idea that maybe he had a weird enchantment cast on him when he was an adventurer and he basically has mood scales. So, yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to say that Professor Erasmus von Thrash has basically, a long time ago when he was an adventurer, had some weird prismatic thing cast on him. I dig that a lot. That make his scales change color depending on his mood. Everyone's coming in with these killer suggestions. He likes to wear fancy robes with starched fluff ruff that goes up to his chin, but also sleeveless to show off the guns. Yeah, that's beautiful. Aragorn, you're just murdering these suggestions, man. In a good way.
Sometimes murder's good.
Yeah, I think I too am going to go with some studded leather.
Yeah.
Safety out.
Von Thrash would agree that sometimes murder is necessary. Yeah.
Kids, sometimes you gotta murder stuff.
I'm imagining a starched fluffy ruff being like a Shakespearean,
Yeah.
the collar, right? The big round Shakespeare collar. I dig that a lot. Nice work, Aragorn. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. If you are just joining us, we are currently doing character creation for our upcoming Twitch campaign. We are Team XP. We are the people that made the first season of Experience Points, which is a web series that you can watch right now on YouTube, except don't because you're watching this.
Not right now. There it is.
I'm Timothy. I'm one of the showrunners. With me is
Kate, I'm the other showrunner.
and we have two of our lovely actors and role players with us here today. Who is this?
I'm Kevin. I play
Did you forget?
Zydromedes
There you go.
in this series.
Oh boy.
Who's this?
Hey, my name's Cody. I played Greg.
Greg.
Or Rael.
Ooh. If you're freaky. Rael, if you're nasty.
Right out at night.
Yeah.
If
you-
awesome. If you
During the day.
if you're digging this and you're excited about the upcoming campaign and you are not already a Patreon backer, check out our Patreon. If you give us money, we can make a second season, and you get some cool rewards as it pertains to this stream about the Junior Adventurers League.
Junior Adventurers League.
That's the 80s theme song, and the lasers go by, and they're riding motorcycles on Mars for some reason. Okay, cool. So you picked your equipment. Sorcerer. Let's do yours. So Sorcerer,
Yeah.
you get, as of yet, unnamed Sorcerer. You do not have any proficiency in armor, because you are a spellcaster. Whoa, guys, whoa.
Isn't that what we're doing?
Just making fun of them. But you get to choose one of these weapons: daggers, darts, slings, quarterstaffs, or light crossbows.
His
So go
AC
ahead.
is still going to be as good as
Here's the
mine.
list of them. And then you can flip to the, you got to put it in the back.
Yeah, you
there's
just
the
said
list.
it, but I...
Totally. So
Oh,
the list is a little bit
rubbish.
further down. Do you see the list?
Yes, right
Cool. So then when you pick the one you want, you can flip to the back and choose, get the damage and stuff for those.
Okay,
you choose.
gotcha.
Real quick, so we've just designed Erasmus Fun Thrash, and I'm in love with him already. What instrument are you going to use, Jeremy?
I don't know.
Right, because you're a bard.
Yeah.
You don't have to use an instrument, but like, what is your performance?
I did not train in performance.
Oh.
So I'm more. I know. I feel like I'm more.
She just tells
I'm really
baking
trying
recipes.
I'm really trying to.
The perfect pancake!
Capitalize on just being the youngest child.
Okay.
So I feel like I feel bad because I like asked for suggestions on whether deception or intimidation. You guys both said deception, and then I went with intimidation because I'm fickle and I like choosing the thing that like no one wants me to pick.
Oh, wow.
I know. I mean,
That's
so,
kind of ungrateful.
It really is, and I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I feel the worst about it than ever anything else.
Wow.
Thanks for rewatching the series, by the way.
Appreciate that,
Yeah.
Cross.
So I don't know what to do for an instrument is where I'm at.
Okay. Well, you don't have to solve it right now. I just wanted to put that idea.
I feel like I'm really gonna try and capitalize on like being like extra cute whenever I'm rolling something that I'm trained in. So extra cute or like extra tantrumy.
Okay.
So
I see. You kind of like vacillate between the two.
I
yeah,
kinda
so
like
I
the
thought about
idea.
having like a doll or something that's not really an instrument, but it'd
Yeah.
be something that I could like talk to and like interact with in a cute
So
way. If I'm trying to
Is
get
there
something
like
I want.
have you like avoided taking the like performance classes? Like you have generals you have to take, right? And you just like keep putting off like music 101. Like you hate, maybe you have like a tin ears and maybe you're really bad at music, or like why aren't you a traditional bard basically?
I'm just saying, like, your thing is just like your family has these really epic, like, secret family recipes. And your performance is you saying, the secret family recipe for, and then you say it like really quick and everyone's like, ah, trying to write it down, but they can't.
I think that would be performance. Like people would come and like attend performances.
Yeah.
My social security number is.
My social security number.
I'm not saying you should do that because it's a bad idea, but I also like the idea because it was mine.
The Haircross suggests, I'm sure that as an artificer, Professor Glitch needs a mechanical or golem companion. Absolutely. I feel like a lot of his heavy lifting and stuff is maybe done by a shield guardian or something like that. Some classic.
A massive shield guy,
It's a
like
huge, like,
just
Warforged
making up
guy,
for his size.
Definitely. A couple people do like the tone deaf idea, so. But you also are now historically known for ignoring whatever the channel wants from you.
Well, I didn't have options to pick from, so tone deaf seems fine to me. But is that then I'm not successful at it, right?
Right, but you don't. But you can still cast spells and stuff. Like a bard doesn't actually have to be good at performance
No.
to be a successful bard.
If you just tell stories,
Right.
and
And
the
it's,
stories
I'm
weave and
really bad because
change.
I'm a kid.
Sure. I'm saying that like mechanically, there's no reason. It's like you could be a thief and be really bad at stealth, or a rogue and still be a rogue and have sneak attack.
Yeah.
Mechanically, you don't
You
need
just
that
be a
skill.
bruiser.
It's just you tend to be as a bard and like
But
encouraged.
people find
to.
it really endearing that I'm trying so hard. Or something.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
funny,
tone
right?
deaf
You
is
have an
fine
instrument,
with
but
me.
you suck at it. When they're like, "Oh, but you're so cute! Look at this little instrument!" Right.
All right.
Where did you land, Cody? With your
I have a question.
yeah, what's your question?
Quarterstaff, is that different than a regular staff?
No, that's
or is
the
that
same.
just a big
It's a different-
staff?
yeah. Generally, a quarterstaff.
It's made from quarters.
It's made out of
Gotcha.
quarters. No,
Perfect.
generally a quarterstaff is like the term you would use if it's like a melee weapon, as opposed to just like I'm a staff and I'm a wizard
Yeah,
and I'm a
because
staff.
since he's a sorcerer, he doesn't need an implement to cast magic.
I don't know that for sure. I
Oh,
was
you
actually
don't?
going to look that up. Chat:
Okay.
Do sorcerers need implements? You don't actually need an implement in 5th, but then you would have like components.
Right.
But let me look it up. I think
Okay.
maybe sorcerers don't. That's a good question.
So I guess that's what my question is. Is this weapon for me to use as a melee weapon, or is it like an implement?
It's a melee weapon.
It is a melee
So you don't
weapon.
necessarily need it, but we can look at your implements as well. That's a good question. I sort of forgot that you're primarily a spellcaster.
Okay.
Would you mind passing me the book real quick?
Is it busy? Is it
I
big?
can look it up.
I have
Ha!
a flugelhorn.
A flugelhorn? I don't even know what a flugelhorn is.
A
Oh,
little
it's
tiny,
just
You
like a
throw
little
like
tiny
a rock.
trumpet.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You put
Got it.
rocks in it and you sling.
Extra annoying.
Yeah, spellcasting
David and
focus.
Goliath.
So, Cody, you can use an arcane focus as a spellcasting focus for your sorcerer spells. So you don't need it, but it's just kind of a flavor thing, as opposed to having spell components. You can have an item that you can use. So let's look at what the implement options are. It's not like 4th, because I know Cody used to play a wizard in 4th edition, where the implement like mattered a lot as far
That's
as
better.
what your spells are.
Yeah.
It's just a flavor thing.
Okay.
The only difference is that if you don't have one, you're presumed to be carrying around spell components and using those. So like, Eye of Newt and stuff like that. Like there's little physical things you need to cast certain spells. We don't actually deal with that in mechanics, but the conceit is that you have
You have a
it.
pouch and you
pull it out.
push things
And
together.
some people really like that. They really like to research okay, I need this and that to make my spells work. But it's kind of like counting arrows. You really don't need to do it.
We would kind of hand wave that stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Aragorn says sorcerers do have arcane focus. So your options for an arcane focus are a crystal, an orb, a rod, a staff, and a wand.
Oh.
So you have a couple different options. And it gets
Crystal,
totally
orb.
flavored. It doesn't really matter which one you pick.
A wand is... Wait, a crystal?
So a crystal, an orb,
Yeah.
a rod, a staff, and a wand.
Oh.
There are a couple of suggestions.
I'm 100% going with Kazoo.
Kazoo
guys.
is
Thank
great.
you. That's
Yes,
perfect.
Kazoo is perfect. Look, she took your suggestion.
So far.
She's not unreasonable.
Not unreasonable.
We find out in 20 minutes, I know everyone suggested Kazoo, but I actually decided.
So I wrote down Kazoo, but I'm not doing that.
You wrote it down.
I want to do an orb.
Yeah, orbs are great.
Right.
Totally. I think that's cool. Yeah,
That's
so
something
you can put an orb down as your implement then. Your arcane focus. Okay, cool.
And then for the weapons, I don't know.
I broke my orb. My father's
Right.
gonna kill me.
Well, you may need a melee weapon. You could have a dagger
his
or something
voice.
like that, just in case.
Daggers. Okay.
Yeah, or even just one. You'll probably be casting spells, but it's probably a good thing to have.
A dagger. And that's just 1d4, right?
Yep, 1d4, and it's piercing damage, and it's based on.
Oh.
You can base it on your dexterity actually, if you want, as opposed to your strength.
How much damage does a sling do?
A sling? I'm looking at it right now. 1d4 bludgeoning.
That's what I figured.
So in addition to the weapons and the armor, I'm going to say that you guys also have a standard adventurer's pack that you get. That's like a school issue, has the logo stamped on it, and it's got all that stuff in, which I don't know if they still have that here, but I will compile what a standard adventurer's kit looks like.
A sofa adventurer's kit.
Yeah.
Provided to all second-year students.
Precisely. Yes. Good. You can just write that down, and that you'll have rope and maybe a collapsible 10-foot pole in it, and all the classic D&D mundane equipment.
How much damage do words do?
Words. None. No damage.
I disagree.
I believe if you cite the text, sticks and stones have damage, but I don't believe words.
They can never hurt you.
Yeah, they can never hurt you.
I think they could have psychic damage.
Well, there's a
They'll break
spell.
your heart.
There's a cantrip called Vicious Mockery that does do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I
We'll
know.
get there, but we're not at spells yet, so just calm the hell down.
I was just making a joke.
Calm the hell down, Kate. Alright, cool. So we have some
Fair.
boring, heavy lifting stuff to do, and so I'm going to skip these guys started on that, and then we can all design some more professors. I love the 2 professors we have already. They're great. You guys are still throwing out some cool ideas in the chat. There's some discussion about the Shield Guardian that I didn't even get a chance to look at, but it sounds cool. Yeah, cool. I dig that. That he can ride around on him. He's got a little platform that he can ride on. Doesn't have a head. Has a compartment that Glitch sits in. His head pokes out the top. That's maybe a little silly, but God, these ideas are awesome. Okay, so let's talk about race features and class features. This is a little boring, but we're just going to go through this real quick. So we're going to start with you, Jeremy.
What up?
Jeremy.
Under your features over here,
Jeremy, yeah.
you can write down basically anything in here that seems important, all the bolded stuff. So brave, halfling, nimbleness, and lightfoot things, because those are all applicable to you, your race features. And then we'll pass that down. Hey, Mega the Bard, welcome to the stream. All right, so welcome. So let's design another professor, everybody. So we already have 2. We have a goblin artificer, Professor Glitch, who has a shield guardian and a cool lenses that allow them to see all kinds of different magical spectrums, and a problem with being called short. Occasionally a glamored floor that looks like lava. And we also have Professor Erasmus von Thrash, who is a former barbarian, and is the current professor of primitive cultures and anger management, who has an enchantment cast on them where their spells, where their scales kind of change color depending on their mood, and wears a very cool Shakespearean ruffled collar and has a basically sleeveless tunic. So we're designing another professor. The only thing I would stipulate this time, again, same questions: race, class, couple physical features, couple behavioral things. I want to stipulate that I would like this professor to be a female professor, because we have 2 male professors already. So let's get a lady professor going.
Ladies up in this house.
Mega the Bard, how much have I missed? Not a whole lot. Well, I mean, a fair amount. We're designing our I was like, nothing. You just joined us, but actually we've been going for a while. We're designing characters for our Twitch campaign. We are basically all children in an adventuring academy, going on adventures, learning things about life, learning to be friends, discovering that the real treasure was friendship the whole time. We're currently doing some of the heavy lifting with the character creation, and I'm having the chat design some professors. We're getting a lot of dwarf suggestions. Clerics,
Ooh.
I like that. Female dwarf cleric, nicely braided beard, sounds cool. I dig that. You guys keep throwing them out. Let's look for, obviously, what they teach, so the cleric might make sense, and then some physical and behavioral traits. How you doing over there, Jeremy?
Jeremy.
I'm good.
Cool. Keep going. You don't have to write down everything, just the basics. You also have some bard things, so make sure you leave some room. So we have names for the 2 characters. I don't think we have a name yet for the sorcerer.
I was just thinking about that. I want it to be something very kind of elegant and bourgeois, and also elven.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
So,
Like Bert.
I don't think Bert's very bourgeois. Theodore.
Well,
okay.
no,
I wonder if we should
that's a very English name.
I wonder if we base it on Theodore, but then change it in a way where it sounds a little more fantasy.
Yeah.
Theodruel.
Thinking about Tolkien-esque names, right?
Or
Chat, if you guys have any cool Tolkien names,
elven names,
please throw them out. Mega Bard, what's the rule in homebrew? Go ahead and suggest some cool ideas. Character creation is basically just straight out of the books, but there's nothing in this world that can't exist. So if you have some cool ideas, I would love to break the rules. Someone suggested female human paladin who just really loves their deity. That's a good suggestion, Flock of Seagulls. I like that. Theodore, someone suggested. Lucian, of course, someone suggested as well.
Lucian, yeah.
I like Theodore.
Yeah.
So it's like Theodore, but not quite. They're loving Theodore.
Theodore.
How do you feel?
Yeah, we'll do that. Sure.
Theodore?
That sounds great.
Okay.
I like that.
But I wonder if it's Theodore and then it has Galandrodel or so it has some kind of very elven name. Ooh, they want the little carrot above the U. The little Theodore.
The accent.
Yeah,
thing?
it's up to you, but it's your character.
I didn't write down bard stuff yet. But
Yeah, so if you want to put down the dwarf features, Kevbot.
Oh, that's me.
That's me.
I'm the Kevbot.
You're the Kevbot. Gunslinger Professor is pretty cool. Heracross.
Gunslinger.
That's a Pathfinder class, but that's definitely a cool idea. There's no reason they couldn't have Theodore. Theodore. I like that. I guess that would technically change the pronunciation if you put the little carrot, but it's Elven, so leave me alone. Who knows? It's up to Cody, whatever he wants to call it.
How would we pronounce it if it has that little carrot above it?
According to Aragwen, Theodore as opposed to Doer.
Theodore.
Up to you.
Theodore. I like Theodore.
Theodore. Okay, we're gonna go Theodore. Awesome. Thanks for the suggestion, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. So Kevin's writing down his dwarven feature. So we have a dwarven. I like dwarf. I like female. I saw cleric and paladin. I really liked Flock of Seagulls' suggestion, female human paladin who just loves their deities. Maybe we combine those ideas and we say that it's a female dwarven paladin who just really loves their deity. So they teach, is it world religions? Do they teach all of them? Or is there a school-sanctioned religion? How does that work? What's the intersection between...
Could it just be a morals and etiquette type of class?
Ooh, an etiquette class taught by a paladin is really cool. I like that. I mean, it would still be basically paladining. Mm-hmm. How do you be a paladin?
Yeah.
Maybe there was a lawsuit a while ago that they can't legally support any particular religion. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's a lot of weird red tape around that and lots of silliness.
Now, I'm not saying he's the best, but...
Yeah. Fanaticism 101, that's pretty good. Fanaticism specifically is what they call it. Someone suggests that the, oh, that's cool, I like that. Lunashi, excuse me. I said I would never mess it up. Lunashi suggests Kate with that spelling where it's K-A-I-T. I really like that a lot.
Where's your professor? No, wait, don't give him one. No, it's okay.
I want one.
I will get one.
He'll seduce one out of you.
I will get a professor. Wait, how do we get one?
Oh, no. Someone just named this Professor Kate. So.
Oh.
Teaches,
Introduction to Zealotry.
Yeah,
so good.
Professor Cody.
Professor Cody, guys.
She's also head of, the crossing guards at school.
I do think there might be... We should maybe, adjust Kate, because I think that's cool, but I'm worried that if we say, Kate does this, or Kate comes over, that might be a little confusing. So can we Caitlin or Caitlin or something that will, it's obviously inspired by Kate, but I don't want to. That just feels like it's a little confusing if it's Kate and Kate. Caitlin, spelled weird, or Caitlin. You guys think of it. You're the chat. You're smart. You got ideas.
Buckets of them.
Pockets full of ideas. Sorry, Mike.
All right, I might actually change. I forgot that dwarves get some extra stuff. I might actually change to throwing hammers.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to like change very drastically. Like, I think I'm going to change to being a...
I don't want to. No, but I mean, I forgot they had like proficiency with other things.
Sure,
And it makes sense for him because I was thinking he would be running around like collecting rocks and stuff like that. So.
You can also throw rocks. They just say that they're throwing hammers. Right?
Yeah, well, I mean, like they're just rock hammers.
Oh yeah, sure.
They are, yeah.
Caitlin. She's a redhead, Flock of Seagulls suggests, which definitely is true. Canon. Redhead and red beard, right?
Like
and it's
a
all
really
braided.
good
red
beard.
It's an awesome beard. I dig that, Flock of Seagulls.
I'm changing my name. Theodwir is what I'm going to go
Oh, you're going to Theodwir?
I'm going to go with that.
I like that. Yeah, good idea. I really thought Cody just made a joke about he's changing his character's age to 35. So I thought you were going to seriously be like, I think I'm going to play an adult. Okay, I will say, we're talking about having some guests come on. I love the idea of a guest who's an adult that's just been held back.
Yeah.
That there's like a grown man that's like a 20-year-old guy.
I always wanted to do it.
Right. Oh, yeah, they just entered college now and they're like way too old.
Yeah, right.
That's a hilarious idea. Yeah. Catrid Flintfall, Professor Catrid Flintfall. Caitlin Gruffdrunk. Makes students call her by her first name because she hates her family name.
Yeah.
Interesting. She's a redhead. She has 2 different colored eyes. It keeps changing the story as to why. That's kind of cool.
Huh.
Caitlin. What do you guys think as far as one of these names? I kind of like Catrid, the Aragorn suggestion. Catrid.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like the gruff drunk thing that she like prefers to be called Professor Catrid. Just like call me.
You're
Catrid.
the gruff drunk.
Yeah,
family.
She's very respectable and like a paladin. Yeah, I dig that a lot. That's cool. Well, because different ages mature at different. Would they all be different ages? Anyways, they are all different ages, but we're kind of saying, at least in this world, just to make it a little simpler, we're sort of saying that all the races mature at the same rate. Some of them just live longer. So like a 10-year-old dwarf is basically the same thing as a 10-year-old human, but they just live vastly longer. It doesn't really make sense to me that a dwarf would basically have like the Order of the Stick brought this up that like why would a 150-year-old elf be the same thing as a 16-year-old human? Does that make a human then is categorically smarter than an elf if they can learn that stuff faster? So we're saying that they all mature at the same rate, but some of them will just live longer. Right?
And there's it's kind of extracurricular, like a summer camp type of thing.
Yeah.
So there's reasons why all of our different ages would sort of be together.
Exactly.
And like other family reasons or whatever. Like if
it's
that we're all
the school's kind of a meritocracy. Like if you can pass the classes, then you're just there. That's why there's kind of different ages as opposed
people
to
might start at different times.
Exactly. Yep. Totally. Good question though, Mega Broad. Totally. Yeah, I like Catrid. I think Catrid Gruff Drunk is pretty funny. Yeah, let's do that. So Catrid Gruff Drunk teaches zealotry and fanaticism 101. Maybe like is also the etiquette professor. And has the beard that's very well done and braided and stuff, but also is sort of ashamed of her maybe like very boisterous and rowdy dwarven clan, right? The Gruff Drunks are like known for being sort of troublemakers. Gruff and drunk. Yeah, it's right there in the name. Cool. Yeah, I dig that. Awesome, guys. Thanks for tuning in and joining us with this.
Maybe that's my family.
Oh, maybe you're the Gruff Drunks.
Maybe I'm part of the Gruff Drunks.
Yeah,
it's like, oh god,
that's cool. I like that. Yeah. Making connections, everybody. Connecting, world building. Let's do it. Maybe senior students, if it's like a camp, there's no teachers. Yeah, exactly. So I thought that too, that they're senior adventurers. Sometimes professors will accompany them, but they might hire outsiders. Some of those outsiders might be older students or like graduated students, alumni. Definitely. That's a great idea for our Seagulls. Cool. Thanks for coming in and helping us with this campaign concept, you guys. I was a little worried everyone would be like, kids, that's dumb. I hate Harry Potter and Hogwarts or whatever. Not that anyone
That's
does.
what I said.
But you know what I mean? Like, I was worried people would not get into the idea. Yeah, Fanaticism 101, Introduction to Zealotry with Professor Catrid. I love that, Aragorn. That's awesome. Thanks for being so supportive and helpful with these suggestions. You guys are killing it in the chat. It's so awesome.
We're very excited to get started.
Yeah, me too.
What is sperm?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it.
It's a sperm. Yeah, there's a sperm on page... What page is that?
On page 22 of the Player's Handbook.
Yeah. There's a big picture
There's
of a
just
sperm.
a big relic sperm.
Or like an old school computer mouse.
Or an old school computer mouse,
From
but
Adele.
But made out of wood.
made out of wood and looks a lot like a sperm.
If anyone has watched Mitchell and Webb, I think it's Mitchell and Webb. Look, there's a joke. That's basically that, where somebody, like a Renaissance era inventor, like Leonardo da Vinci invents a mouse, but has no idea what it's for or why. He just like, I think this will be important, and it's like literally a carved mouse that you can click. Mitchell and Webb, check it out. It's great. You guys are a super creative chat, Eric. Gwen.
High fives, everybody. High five each other.
Around. Let's all do high fives. High fives. It's a weird high five orgy.
I'm happy to be part of it.
Always. If there's ever an orgy.
Whenever there's an orgy, sign me up.
Poor Heather. She missed out on the orgy.
She's always talking about that high five.
She'll be pretty upset.
She will be pretty upset. Awesome. Well, guys, if you are just joining us, we are Experience Points. We're Team XP, and we are currently designing characters for our upcoming Twitch campaign. I am Timothy. I'm one of the showrunners. Joining me is...
Kate, the other showrunner. Yeah, and then also...
We have two of our cast members here.
My name is Kevin. I play Zydromedes in the XP web series Season 1.
My name is Cody, and I play Greg, or Rael.
Rael
is the
And
character in the character.
Characterception. Yeah, so we're currently designing characters for our Twitch campaign. Kate, do you want to give them the pitch on what the campaign is about, or do you want me to do?
Go for it.
Sorry. Okay, no, that's fine.
I do, but I keep not listening to how you give
totally.
the pitch.
So this campaign is going to be called the Junior Adventurers League, and the idea is that our characters are children that are currently attending an adventuring academy. And they're learning how to be an adventurer. They're taking different classes. Like some of these classes are called Fanaticism 101, teaching you how to be a paladin, or Primitive Cultures and Anger Management, teaching you how to be a barbarian. But they're currently on their summer vacation, and so they are attending an extracurricular summer camp style program called the Junior Adventurers League, where they go out around the world and they delve dungeons and they learn valuable lessons and they discover that the real treasure was their friendship the whole time. So we're currently in the process of making characters. We're going to start our campaign next week, starting at 4 p.m. on Sundays, 4 to 7. PST, by the way. PST, because we are all on the West Coast. And you can check us out there. It's going to be a blast. All the adventures that we design are voted on by our patrons and our fans, which you can check out on our Patreon page, which I'll post a link to right here in case you haven't already decided to be a patron. Why not? Why don't you patronize us? And they're all based on adventure hooks that we tweet out from our Twitter accounts, and they will all be available to our $10 patrons as basically a PDF that you can play in your campaigns. They're going to be super fun and exciting. Our first one, I believe, I can reveal maybe later as to what won that first poll. We actually have a couple of them have been determined already on our website. Cody, are you done over there, or...
Do you even do these things?
Also, Megan the Bard, Heather will be here too. She just couldn't join us today at this time, but she will also be playing.
Yes, we have Heather, who was played Nadine in the series.
We're also Nades.
Yeah,
we called her.
Indeed. We'll also hopefully be bringing in occasional guests to play either the senior adventurers or sort of transfer students or whatever wacky ideas we can come up with. We have some graphic design that we're working on right now, and our graphic designer had a brilliant idea that suggested at some point we need to get you guys to like sell cookies or something along those lines. That there's some like fundraising drive, and so you go around. I love the idea of like going to like a horrible like corrupt thief city or something like that, and like trying to sell like you buy these brand cookies or whatever. An adventure based around that would be awesome. Cool. How you doing over there, Cody?
I'm doing good, man.
I kind of like, just to reference the chat, I do kind of like the, a graduated student, a Kinku rogue.
I saw
who's kind of a bad boy.
Yeah.
I need Danny Zuko in my life.
Danny Zuko, the Kenku.
Hey,
Danny
it's
Kenku.
me!
Yeah.
That's my Danny Zuko, by the way. It's very good. I'm
great.
a good actor.
There's a lot of great ideas in here. The Tabaxi Ranger Groundskeeper with a favorite enemy bird.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
A Tabaxi is an extremely obscure race that recently just got reintroduced. A Tabaxi is a cat, basically like a cat person.
They've got like 20 different cat people.
There's a lot of cat people, yeah. Star Wars also is famous for having like 16 billion different cat people. We have Goliath Druids being suggested out here. Professor Leary. Some awesome ideas. You guys are killing it. The Haircross, thank you, wants to know what class Heather is going to be playing. I believe she's playing
she's a fighter.
A fighter, yes. I think the concept was kind of like a bimbo, like an airhead. Like she's sort of a ditz, but is big and strong and likes to protect people.
Well, a ditzy tomboy?
She's the oldest, too.
Yeah, the oldest and kind of a ditzy tomboy, yeah. Awesome. But we'll get there. You'll meet her next time. Unfortunately, she could not make it as she has a day job. So we still have some more character stuff to write down. You got to write down your bardic abilities over here. So we are second level because first level is a little too young for these guys to go out in the league. So we're starting at second. So you have basically spellcasting, bardic inspiration, jack of all trades, and song of rest. If you want to take a look at those. There's tons of ideas here in the chat. Let's see if we can kind of nail down a couple of them. Let's design another professor while we're waiting for these guys to write down more boring stuff. So boring. There's also some of this we can maybe handle off the stream as well. If we feel like we don't necessarily want to go through all this stuff. Because it's like spell
At this
selection.
point, it might take a while.
Yeah, it's probably going to take a while to continue to do that. So what do you guys think? How do you feel about your characters and things so far over there?
I feel great. Mine's easily the best.
Cool. Let's maybe talk a little bit about personality, and because we have to do personality traits, our bonds, our flaws, and stuff like that. So maybe let's wait with the rest of the heavy lifting on this mechanical stuff, because we can always do that off stream too. So let's see. Let's maybe go around and each try to design one of our personality traits, our bonds, our flaws, or our the other one, ideals. So for personality traits, these are kind of the most generic. They just sort of represent little quirks and aspects of your personality that would come out in play. Each character usually has 2 of them. The way this generally works is that people who play into these sort of personality stuff tend to get rewarded with inspiration, that kind of a thing. So we've already discussed a handful of these, so it's just kind of about codifying them down. So like, for example, Jeremy's might be one of your personality traits. Could be that you tend to throw tantrums, right, whenever you don't get what you want, or you use, cuteness and flattery to get what you want, things like that. Mm-hmm. Is there a way to sort of explain that in text?
I will think on it.
Okay, cool. What about you, Amos? Any idea for one of your 2 personality traits? Could be that you're stinky.
I know that he stinks.
Yeah.
I know.
You have poor hygiene, right?
Yeah, his hygiene is less than exemplary.
Yeah. Okay.
And cool. to their standards, he feels clean.
You feel fine, right?
Yeah.
What about the dwarven standards? Are you still even dirty for a dwarf?
I think he's horrifically dirty for a dwarf, because like dwarves are covered in soot and stuff, but he's covered in like
the wrong kind of dirt.
Yeah, it's just like, you didn't get that dirt from working, you're just rolling it.
Yeah, right, absolutely.
So,
it's not earned dirt.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So maybe try to explain that in text.
Yeah, I'll think about that.
What about you, Cody? What are some personality traits for you? And we've discussed a few ideas.
Yeah, well, he's a dick.
Yeah, it's kind of a snob, right?
Yeah, it's snob.
Mm-hmm.
He'll try to make himself look the best in every situation.
Okay.
He lies a lot about it.
Sure. So you're kind of a braggart, or like someone who's trying to. You're conceited. You're arrogant. Right?
Yeah.
But that could also be a flaw. Don't necessarily sell that down the river as well. Okay. So we also have ideals. If you don't know what ideals are, the conceit behind an ideal is it's something that you care about the most, something you work towards. So if you are not to say this is Jeremy's thing, but let's say you're a bard, and your ideal could be beauty and music or performance or whatever. If you're a paladin, your ideal seems pretty clear. It's to defend the faith or do whatever. Eric might suggest personality trait, the kid that no one likes to sit behind, dirty, right?
Mm-hmm.
An ideal could be, it's more like a high concept that you're kind of striving towards. It could be beauty, it could be freedom, it could be wealth, it could be, like, what does your character care about? What motivates your character on, like, a philosophical level, basically. The bond represents some kind of tie to the world. So it could be, in Jeremy's case, again, to use you as an example, your older brother or your family seems like a good bet. It's usually someone that you're related to. It could be like a rival. It could be a particular location or a place that you're really tied to, something like that. And then flaw, pretty clearly, is like, some sort of a glaring character flaw, effectively, that might affect the way you roleplay. Generally, trying to incentivize you to play in a way that doesn't necessarily just benefit you mechanically. So arrogance could be a flaw, or clumsiness could be a flaw, or something along those lines. There's so many great ideas here. You guys think about those. I'm gonna start looking at these. We've got a bunch of them. Let's design another professor, you guys. There's some talk about groundskeepers and druids and stuff like that. Since we do have a druid in the party, it might be kind of cool to solidify this druidic professor. So let's maybe try to think of. Here we go. Lunashi says, Professor Wood is a very old Goliath who doesn't hear very well and often answers the wrong questions when people ask him things. I dig that. Let's try to brainstorm a little bit. I think a Goliath druid is pretty cool. We've got the suggestion that Goliath druid teacher who has a pet tiger, Snickers, which is pretty crazy. Let's say a druid. I like a Goliath. Goliath, Professor Wood the druid is well on his way. Look at that. This is what happens when you leave a creative chat like this alone and you come back to it, and it's just beautiful. I didn't want to just rubber stamp Luna Sheet's idea because I thought Luna Sheet made it up whole cloth, but now looking at it, it looks like you guys have really been going crazy. Yeah. Aragorn suggests, I think for you, Cody, quote, easily the best, end quote, is a good character ideal. Oh, like, not necessarily, I think it's a joke thing, like, I'm the best.
Yeah.
Easily the best.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, okay, Professor Wood, the Goliath druid, who is very old, doesn't hear very well, and often answers the wrong questions when people ask him things. I really dig that. Apparently he has a pet tiger named Snickers. I think, I don't know about Snickers as a name, it's a little silly, but I guess if he's an old dotty professor, that's kind of cool. What if he, I like the idea that the tiger is also really old, that it was like the tiger he used to adventure with, and is now just kind of this old, geriatric, toothless tiger.
They're both just like...
Yeah, that's cool.
What's your tiger's
Wood.
name?
Bork is his first name. That's fine, whatever. I'm okay with that. Bork. It's very silly. But a lot of these professors are turning out to be pretty goofy. That's fun, though. Yeah, I like it. They're very flavorful, and I think flavor is more important.
It also could be like the idea is through the eyes of the kids, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
Like maybe they're
Maybe
not
the world
as-
is kind of fanciful,
Yeah,
because it's
like-
all seen through. That's a really good perception, Cody. I like that.
Wow, Cody.
Look
Good
at you.
job.
Yeah,
Thanks.
totally.
Can I read you guys my stuff that I wrote down?
I
Yes,
really don't
please,
want
we'd
to
love
hear
to
it.
hear it.
I do not want to hear it.
Okay, this one's for you, Kevin. So the personality trait, I don't know, this one I'm still going to maybe work on, but I have very arrogant but sort of a wimp physically. And then he's too smart for his own good.
Yeah.
For ideals, he wants to make his parents proud of him.
Totally.
He never feels like that his parents really,
That's beautiful.
ever,
You want to
give him any
prove
respect. So he wants to prove, like, that's kind of where all the root of this problem is.
Cool.
His bond, this is kind of, I don't know, I might change this, but I think, what if he's kind of like a survival of the fittest kind of person?
Mm.
Like, he kind of believes in that, is that Darwinism?
Social Darwinism, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
think
like,
maybe you might want to flip those two, because the bond is like the thing in the world that you care about, and the ideal is the thing that you're striving towards.
Oh, so those are the opposite.
I think you got to switch, but yeah,
Gotcha.
those are both good. So he's kind of ideal wise. He thinks that if you can't make it, if you can't cut it, then you sort of deserve to be left
Yeah,
behind.
you deserve your own fate kind of a thing.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's so funny coming from a position of privilege to have that. But like you're wealthy, and you think like, well, you can't.
It's kind of mentally wrong, like
Yeah,
messed up.
But that's
right?
interesting about it, right? I think that tends to be the behavior of someone who's in a very high position of privilege. Is like, well, I got here, I did it. myself.
They think that.
Yeah, that everyone has the
I
same.
worked
think
really
they
hard
deserve
to
it.
get here.
Right,
They
exactly.
think they
That's like perfect. That's really
Uh,
cutting into that.
And then for his flaw, I mean, besides the obvious ones. Well, I don't know. This is kind of. He uses his arrogance as a shield to hide who he his real person.
And I think you're insecure, right?
Yeah,
It's sort of the idea that you act like you're always in control and you're very
Right.
cool, but underneath there's sort of
It's like
you're afraid. Yeah,
shout out.
that's cool. Awesome.
I like that.
Yeah, boy, they're still killing it with Professor Wood. He likes to reminisce about his adventuring days. Always has a story and goes on long tangents. Yeah, sort of a like. Yeah, that's funny. Aragorn suggests he likes to dress in a mantle made of bark and moss so that small creatures can nest or land on it. And Flock of Seagulls says, Luna Sheet describes him as Aragorn, fashion designer of the chat. So far, he's every single time come in with these awesome costumes for these professors, which I really dig.
I think he's Moss's hero for sure.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I was wondering if there's a relationship between you two.
Yeah.
So, how you doing there, Moss? You still working on some?
I really don't. I don't know what else other than that he's stinky. His ideal. His
That's
ideal.
his whole personality.
As his personality just smells bad. His ideal is closer to dirt, closer to earth.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that's kind of like any situation that would get him new dirt on him.
Messier.
Yeah, any situation that would get him messier,
Let's
he's
see.
gonna
Let's
die
see if we
right
can
in.
expand the concept a little, because I love him being dirty and gross, but I feel like what's his?
Yeah.
So you got very very low charisma, right?
He's got
That's where you
awful
put
charisma, so he just doesn't get along with
anybody.
Anybody,
So you're
really.
a loner, right? Like that's
Yeah.
right personality. Do you talk a lot? I assume not.
No, I think he probably I've got the idea that he mumbles. Like,
Okay.
he's just like, we just go in there.
Yeah, that's a great personality trait. Like you never
Yeah.
speak clearly, right? So
Yeah.
you're always kind of mumbling a little bit, and
So-
pointing at what you want.
I
and-
like that.
Yeah, that's great.
We've got a mumbler.
Aragorn suggests that Wood also doesn't like to walk on hewn surfaces, so he uses a cave on the ground as his classroom instead. Yeah, I dig that. That's very cool.
Yeah, so he mumbles with gestures. I put the kid that no one likes to sit behind, but that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, totally.
So that's not really a...
Well, it's the same thing. You're dirty,
Personality
you're
trait.
smelly, no one
Yeah.
likes to interact with you. So how does this manifest into a flaw? Because the flaw is kind of a lot of those ideas.
Yeah. The flaw would, I assume, be that he just...
You don't like people, or you don't enjoy, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know.
Because it's funny, because both your personality traits, like, in a normal social setting, could be described as a flaw, right? You
Yeah.
don't speak clearly, and you're really smelly. So, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory then, right? That you...
Yeah,
Well,
I'm going to think about it. I
go
think
ahead,
Bonds has something to do with his family back home. Like,
Yeah, okay.
he wants desperately to be accepted by them, but
Okay.
at the same time, he's not willing to change.
I wonder if we could also try to hook in some bonds and stuff to the school, because I think right now all three of us have
we
a
haven't
family.
really solidified it, but the Bond...
Professor Wood?
The Bond could be Professor Wood. He's the first person that he's actually...
That's really cool, yeah.
So yeah, his Bond is Professor Wood.
Yeah, totally. But I guess it can even be a similar thing. Like, you want to do well in that class. Like,
Yeah.
maybe you're not a good student. What's your intelligence?
My intelligence is average.
Oh, okay.
It's 11.
Sure,
He's not bad. His wisdom is pretty high, obviously.
Yeah, right.
His constitution is high.
Okay.
But I think that maybe his bond is with Professor Borkwood, and
Yeah.
his entire, like, his charisma is such crap that, like, whenever he tries to talk to him, Wood doesn't hear what he's
Doesn't hear him.
asking.
Like,
And
maybe
he's
Wood doesn't
talking.
even really know who you are.
Yeah,
or
Wood
you.
has
Yeah.
no idea.
You
He's
desperately just
like,
want to be noticed. by him. Yeah.
Notice me, senpai.
That's great. Cool. How you doing, Jeremy? How are your personalities?
I think I got him.
Cool. Spit them out.
Personality traits is emotional, acts on instinct immediately. So
Yeah.
I can't really,
There's no filter.
just do what I want.
Cool.
For ideal, I just want to be as cool as Odo.
Yeah. Definitely.
The rest of my family's fine, but like I just want to be
Your
as
older
cool as
brother
Odo.
is the coolest guy, yeah.
Bonds are very
Which
close
one,
with
though?
family.
I'm sure you have
and
like
work hard.
60 older brothers, right?
No, I wrote it down. I have one older brother, one older sister, and then like one younger or two.
So you got some siblings, but
Yeah, I have like 3 or 4 siblings, but Odo is the one that like succeeded the most in here, and I just want to be.
Did he graduate? Like, is he
Oh,
he's
yeah.
through the program?
He was basically like head boy or like a prefect.
Yeah, he was
Like,
Percy,
yeah,
for
he was
sure.
Percy, but like cooler and
Cool.
like nice, or at least I think he is.
He was James
I
Potter,
idealize
right? He
him.
was like the cool guy that
Yeah.
everyone wanted to
I
be.
definitely idealize him, so like I don't see any flaws with him. So who
Cool.
knows how he actually is?
Yeah, right.
For bonds, I'm very close with family. I don't know, that one I'm kind of
Sure.
could use more on. And then for flaws, does not quite understand social consequences or faux pas.
Yeah,
So
I like that.
it kind of goes with the personality
So you're
traits.
kind
But
of-
like I'll act on instinct immediately, but like sometimes like if I don't necessarily perceive something's dangerous or like I don't understand
Yeah.
that like I could get hurt or die or that bad things.
I
could
mean, yeah,
happen.
a flaw could be that you're 8 and you have no judgment,
Right,
right?
right.
Like, yeah.
I don't
that's
understand that
great.
there are actual serious consequences to the things we're doing. Like, it doesn't seem dangerous because Odo did it, and it's fine.
Right, yeah, totally. Awesome. Yeah, Flock of Seagulls makes the point. Notice me, Professor Wood.
Notice me.
Awesome. Well, that feels pretty good as far as our characters and stuff are concerned.
Mhm.
There's definitely a little more heavy lifting and spells selection and stuff that we should do, but
Mhm.
I feel really good about where we ended up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We need to come up with a female faculty member. I think we have one Aragorn. I think we have Professor Catred,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm sure that there are more. This definitely doesn't represent the full faculty roster. These are just a couple that we came up with. But you're exactly right. We need a few more female professors in there, absolutely. Do we maybe want to brainstorm one more professor and then maybe do the thank yous? We have a bunch of Patreon thank yous that we should read off because we have that's one of our goals. If you donate to our Patreon, then you get to hear us mispronounce your name on the stream.
Yeah.
How does that sound? It's glorious.
It's a very good perk.
Totally. Great. So do you guys want to brainstorm at least one more female professor, and then we can move on from there? So we need a race. Halfling was already
Female
suggested.
gnome, I think, is
But-
on there.
Oh yeah, but feel free to throw a couple more out. So halfling gnome, whatever else you want. We need a class they teach and a couple of personality traits. In the meantime, what else can we work on here, you guys? What do you think? We could start reading those names if you want, and then they could brainstorm the
Yeah.
idea. Or what do
Oh,
you
I
think?
have a question. How
Yes.
what's
Oh, let's do our hit points. Perfect. So we'll do our hit points. You guys figure out this extra professor. Keep throwing some stuff around. We've already got a druid, a cleric, a barbarian, and an artificer. So some more as Arrogant points out, some more arcane would be good, like a monk or a fighter or a rogue or something a little more martial would also be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So hit points work like this. At first level, you guys get the maximum number of hit points you can have for your class. I think you guys are both D8s, I'm pretty sure, so it should be 8 plus your Constitution modifier. You don't roll it, you just add the straight 8
Yeah,
at
you
first
roll
level.
it next level.
After that, yep. So yeah, Bard is 8 plus Constitution modifier at first level. Druid is... Let's find Druid. Druid is also 8. You have 8 plus Constitution
So I
modifier.
have 8, 9, 10, 11, plus my Hill Dwarf, which
Oh,
makes
yeah.
it 12.
Sounds good. And I believe the Sorcerer is D6
I
plus your
think it's
Constitution
6.
modifier.
I think I saw that.
Cool.
When I was looking at the other stuff.
And then each level after that, you can either roll 1d8, you can roll your die, and then add your Constitution modifier, or you can take basically the average. So for a Bard, it's 5, and for a Druid, it's also 5. I think it's 4 for Sorcerer. So you can choose to either take 4 and add your Constitution modifier, or you can gamble and roll and hope to get better.
I'm a gambling man.
Yeah, I'm always gambling too.
I got a 4, so.
Oh, you got a 4, okay.
Yeah.
I only have plus 0, so I'm just gonna take
Yeah.
the 5.
Cool.
I
Yeah.
don't
So,
want to risk it.
Timothy,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Go for it.
So, for level 1, it's just 6 hit points?
6 plus your Constitution modifier.
So it'd be 5.
So 5. Yeah, 5 hit points. I'll tap you out at 6. I'll say you're not going to lose a hit
At
point
first
there.
level?
Yeah.
Okay,
At first
so
level,
then we
I'll be nice
add,
to you.
you said it was, for me it's 4d6 that I roll?
You can either choose to roll a d6,
1d6.
or you can just add 4 plus your
Oh, I
Constitution
see.
modifier, in which case that would be 3.
So either way, I'm subtracting
What's
1.
your AC?
Gotcha.
What's your AC?
So I'm going to roll.
13.
Okay, go for
Yeah,
it.
I'm going to roll.
I'll say your minimum is 1. You at least get 1 hit point. So even if you roll
Sure.
1 here,
I
you're
still
still
get
at
1.
least going to get a new hit point. Yeah. A single hit point.
I got 1 hit point. Yeah, so I'm at
Oh, no.
7.
Oh, that's
Glass cannon.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you be at 6 because you have to subtract 1?
No, because he said I'll at
I
least get
told him he
Oh.
can have 6 at first level just to be nice. You have
Okay.
7 hit points.
I got the minimum amount of hit points.
Baby
Oh,
boy!
no.
I love that,
You're
actually.
so sensitive.
I love that.
I never got my armor class, by the way.
So yeah, armor class will just be determined by your. Oh right, you don't have any armor. So I believe it's 10 plus your dexterity.
It's
modifier.
10 plus dex.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's 13.
All right, so I just want to go back to chat real
Yeah,
fast
we have
and
a couple
talk
great
about
ideas.
a female gnome monk or a female halfling monk, which she can be distractingly adorable. Professor Button have big golden curls in her hair and a little bird voice, and then punches people to the moon.
To the moon, Professor Shira Button. Okay, I like that. Let's. They suggested flipping a coin. I say we roll a die. So does someone want to roll a die and say odd is halfling and even is gnome?
We gotta roll a 20-sided.
I'm sure. Yeah, go for it.
So,
I was saying roll a 10-sided to be on brand, but that's fine.
Oh, 10-sided would be
10-sided
on
is our sort of signature.
10-sided from
Die. The logo
Zydromedes
is a
stack.
10-sided die, right?
So, 10-sided, so odds and evens?
So odd is halfling, even is gnome.
Alright. We
That's
have
right.
an even.
It's even, so it's a gnome. Yeah, female gnome. Shira Button. She's
Shira
a monk,
Button.
so she teaches meditation for sure, and she teaches martial arts, right? Like self-defense. Super adorable. She has big golden curls and a little bird voice.
And she punches people to the moon.
Punches people to the moon, yeah. Super nice. Yeah, I think that's great. Professor Shira Button. What do you think about it? Kate?
Yeah, sounds
dig
What do you
that?
think?
it's just a horrifying image of like the golden curls with this gnome. So I'm just trying to.
I think it's cute. I mean, it could be a halfling too. I don't know if you really.
No.
Really... She hates
I don't-
gnomes, guys.
No, I don't hate it.
Super
I just-
anti-gnome.
My brain keeps making it really gross in my head. I'm like,
Why is that?
"Get it."
Okay.
Why?
It's fine. Leave
Wow.
me alone. You
Oh.
asked.
A little
Well,
racist.
no, why is it bad? Why are
A
no?
little
Oh
racist.
my god. Right.
All right, well, guys, I think that's probably going to wrap up the stream for the most part. We're going to read these, some of our patrons who have been so kind and donated. But thank you so much, Chad. I was
Yeah.
blown away by the creativity and the awesome brainstorming that you guys did. This is great. I'm really excited to show some of these professors. I think even one of them is already going to be featured in the first episode. I can think of who the accompaniment is going to be. That's going to be awesome. Oh, yeah, let me read that real quick. So our first... adventure was voted by the chat. I think we actually have our first 2 adventures. Let's look at our posts on Patreon, which you can check out if you want to go and look at our Patreon, which you've all certainly already checked out a handful of times.
Check
my,
it out.
My constant reminders. I'm loading the page right now. Check it out.
That's from something, I think.
Yeah, it is from something. If you know what that
Steve
is.
Brule?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Check it out.
His name is Steve Burrell.
Let's check it out.
All right,
Sure.
Steve Rule
Sure.
fans in the audience. Okay, so the first adventure that this will be airing next week, this is the hook for it. Quote, a rare snowmelt in the Tharzadoon Peaks has revealed a dwarven complex long thought forgotten.
Woo!
Sort of classic
stuff.
Mines of Moria kind of a thing. Yeah, it definitely ties into one of our PCs who is a dwarf. We have another one that has been voted on. Quote, a gargantuan, immortal tortoise wanders the world, an ancient city constructed atop its shell.
Ooh, turtles!
Turtles.
I like turtles.
That ties into my character.
Very important.
Clearly.
There are still. That's too many days left. I made this last one a little bit too long, but there's still one poll that's currently going, which you can go check out. There are 3 options here. I'll read them to you. Quote: the city of Arachaz is woven entirely of spider silk, ruled by an Ettercap nobility, and sustained by blood.
I don't
Those of
want
you-
that at all.
Those of you who don't know, an Ettercap is like a weird spider monster, but they're
It's
a lot of
a
fun.
kids,
horrid
man.
spider creature.
Hey, what's up, Ben? Another one of the suggestions is, quote, a mentor or parental figure to one of the adventurers becomes afflicted with lycanthropy, which seems really cool considering all the professors we've just developed.
Uh-huh.
And the last one is, quote, anyone who drinks from the oasis is transported to the seraglio of a powerful djinn, always eager to entertain new guests. Seraglio being like a pleasure house or whatever. Yeah,
Children in the pleasure
exactly. I
house.
thought that'd be kind of a funny one.
These kids are going to be badass. You
Yeah,
guys.
that was sort of the idea. Was to sort of hashtag patron squad. Woo! That was sort of the idea, was to put them in as dangerous and terrifying situations as possible.
Just
really scary and above
terrifying.
All right, great. Let's read some names, and then we'll.
I love the idea of they conquer this city, they sink, they do all these crazy things, and then it's like, here's 60, sofa bucks, huh, big guy?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are 4 of us. There are 22 of them. So I will read 7, and then we'll pass along, each read 5. Do the best you can with these names. The whole point is that we do not know how to pronounce them. So I'll read the first 5. Thank you for $10 donors to Tim Laxton, Ashley Rice.
You have to
Brian.
pronounce them bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Time Laxtone, Ashley Riche, Brian, Leto, Ronald Easmith, Olaf Heinjian, and Vonk Romero. That's not how you say any of those names. All right, let's pass it on. So you're going to do these 5, Kate.
Okay.
Actually, you can just do those 6 if you want to get the last one in there.
All right.
Split the last 2 up.
Yeah.
So also still $10 donors, patrons.
Yay.
Patrons.
Ocean Joan Martinez, Kilania,
Kilania.
the Sandman King,
Sandman King.
Anton Svensson,
Anton Svensson.
Adam Perzon,
Adam Perzon. One last one.
Inkimi Sumeri.
Sumery.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Let's have you guys do 5 of those ones.
All right. 5 that would only leave Cody with. No, I can't read. The first one is Eid.
Eid. Thank you, Eid, for your donation.
The second one is Yvette by Man.
Thank you, Yvette by Man.
The third one is Danielle Chen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle Chen.
The fourth one is Beth Tahani Mikaborne.
Thank you, Beth
Hey.
Tahani Mikaborne.
Jaggy Burlety. And the final one is Stevi Bessonetti.
Thank you, Stevie
Thank
Besson.
you.
Debbie Bessanetti.
I love that
Thank
guy.
you.
Very Italian.
All right, let's pass it on to Cody. You want to round us out there, buddy?
Sure. Thank you so much to Exploding Dikey.
Exploding Dikey. Thank you, Exploding.
Thank you so much, Bruke Siegel.
Thank you, Bruke
I
Seagull.
think that's just her last name.
Well, the
Whatever,
first
keep
name was
going.
way off.
Yeah, the
Super
first-
off. Thanks, Bruke.
Thank you so much, Marai Zantope.
Thanks, Mariah Zantope.
And thank you so much to Jessica Odgardy.
Jessica Odgardy.
And thank you so much. Thank you so much, Haley.
Haley.
Oh. That one's rude.
That one's mean. Awesome. Thanks. Thank
I
you
didn't
so
mean to
much.
be rude or mean.
No, that's my fiance. That's Hallie.
No.
It's his fiance.
That's why I did that. It was a
Of course,
joke.
yeah, it was a
Get
joke,
it.
because we understand. Thank you so much, Shannon, for coming and tuning in to this character creation session. If you want to see these adventurers in action, check us out next week, 4 p.m. PST. We're going into a dwarven ruin. We're gonna find some creepy stuff in there, man.
Creepy stuff.
Thanks so much, everybody. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask in the chat. I'm sure I'll still be in the chat for a couple of minutes. But thanks, everybody. Everybody say bye.
Bye.
Thanks for coming.
Good
Bye.
Mom.
Bye.